So this is the last thing I actually wanted to touch on. I know
Yeah,
I've taken a lot of your time, and I could sit here talking politics and planes and all kinds of shit with you all day. Music.
dude,
There's
we
so much
got.
we have to cover, but we've already been on here over an hour, and I don't want to be respectful of your time and whatnot.
Hi, dude, you're
And
good. I blocked out 2 hours for this, man.
love it. To that note, though, we may actually have to record this again because I didn't start my fucking soundboard until halfway through. So I'm gonna try to recover the
Oh,
audio off my phone, but my phone goes through the soundboard, so I don't know if we lost the beginning of my audio.
oh
Which
shit.
I could probably make that work. You speaking
Yeah,
is the more important part, so we'll see.
gotcha.
But need be, we might have to record this whole fucker again, just so you're aware.
No worries, man.
But welcome to Ordinary Joe's Extraordinary Stories, a podcast that shines a light on ordinary people and their extraordinary stories. From small towns to big cities, we're sharing the real, raw, and inspiring moments that connect us all. Because every voice matters, every story counts. This is Ordinary Joe's Extraordinary Stories. Welcome back, Joes. I'm glad to see you again, and I've got another Ordinary Joe with me, but he's a good friend from the past and a longtime friend, and we haven't seen each other for a really long time. Well, that's actually not true because we did this already. We recorded this, and as always, I let Murphy's Law take over, and I fucked things up. So, we had to re-record the first half of this. So what's going to happen is you're going to see us talk right now, and we're going to get through the first half of this, and then we're going to switch clothes instantly, and then it's going to be a completely different day and a completely different conversation. But I promise you, we'll do our best to keep it the same as it was the first time. But please welcome my good friend Jose Granados. Jose, thank you for coming today, or
Thanks for having me, man.
thank you for coming back today. I kind of flubbed that up. So yeah, what happened in the initial one is I forgot to hit record on the soundboard over here, so you could hear everything I was saying, but poor Jose's conversation, half of the conversation got lost to the abyss, and I was just talking to myself. he was lip syncing words, but nothing was coming out. so so we're recording now again, so I can tie this into the episode. So when you see that on the episode, just know that's what happened. There's going to be an abrupt switch, and then it's going to go back to our initial conversation because we've talked about a lot of good things, and I didn't want to lose all of that. So we're not going to record the whole episode again. We're going to keep what we had and re-record what we lost. So um, let's get started with how we knew each other. So I met you in high school. I believe I
hmm
was a junior and you were a sophomore. Does that sound right?
I was freshman
You
because
were a freshman.
you and I want to say Richard and somebody else did my
Priestley?
initial hazing.
Wait.
Yeah, I think so.
No
No, no, no,
kidding.
no, 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 not Richard. But yes, I want to say you were involved in my initial hazing because it was in guitar class.
Okay, I hope we weren't too
And
rough on you. I
no,
remember.
God,
I
just
remember
Sharpie on the
actually.
face, dude. That's normal. Now, who didn't get it? I can't remember the kid's name or even what he looked like. But I remember one of the kids fought with y'all and didn't want it. He got like pretty much blackfaced. That was funny.
That sounds horrible now. It's adult. I don't like it,
No,
but
no, no. Looking back, because we did it too. It's like, God damn it, we shouldn't have done any of this.
there was a few kids that I was was not the nicest person to in the guitar class. Like I wasn't an asshole. I just kind of made fun of them in ways that I'm sure they didn't enjoy. And now as an adult, I
You
look back and
know,
I hate it. And I wish I could get in touch with them and be like, you know what? I'm sorry. I was such a dick.
yeah, exactly, dude. There's so many people I wish I could apologize to, but it's we were kids.
We were
We thought we
kids.
were adults because we were teenagers. We were so
That's
dumb kids,
exactly right.
dude. Oh my god. Yeah, but no, I remember that, and it was like you guys accepted me afterwards. So I'm like, oh, you got me. And you guys
Yeah.
were like, oh, okay. You
You
want to
know,
play guitar with us? Yeah, hell yeah.
I think it was Javi. Me and Javi. Does that sound right?
That's what it was. Yes, 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 yes,
Okay.
yes. I don't know why. Well, Richard was there, but he wasn't there that day.
Sure. Yeah.
He was hardly there.
I think he hung out. That's true. I think he hung out more with Shane. They were like a little more serious about the music stuff than the rest of us were.
Yeah, because I remember that like they were, and that was cool. They were
Oh,
freaking
totally.
incredible. But
Totally.
yeah, they were. We were very much jokesters,
Yeah.
and guitar players.
Now, I want to say, I didn't say this in our initial conversation, but the guitar concert that I had you come and sing for us, I have that. I digitized it.
Oh my God, are you
Yeah,
serious?
yeah, buddy.
Dude,
I'll do my
I
best to
need to
get
see
it to
that.
you, and I
All
will
right.
include clips of you going crazy at the end of this conversation. But yeah, I'll try. I'll do my best to either burn it on a disc or digitize it and send it to you somehow, maybe an email or something.
Okay.
But yeah,
I
it's
mean, if you can burn it, I got a Cool Frontier swag to send you. So
oh yeah,
we'll
buddy.
start the mail exchange, sir. Yes,
Absolutely,
I know we'll get
absolutely.
into that in a little bit, but I just wanted to throw that out there. So
I don't know how much of that we talked about on the podcast. A little bit because you showed me your cards that I was so jealous of.
yes. We talked about the cards a little bit. So
Anyway,
yeah,
you'll see
we
that
can throw
later in
that
the
in there.
conversation.
Noise.
um, so are you still playing guitar?
Yeah, not as actively as I used to. I took a break of about 10 years. Just life
Yeah,
comes at you fast, and
same,
hobbies go to the bottom of the list.
one
But
hundred percent.
I'm basically, oh yeah, it's wild. So I'm kind of relearning the songs I remember or what I'm doing to get like my picking down, my finger positioning, all that stuff.
Good.
So little by little, getting back into
I'm
it,
glad to
and
hear that, man.
it's
That's
nice.
glad to hear it. That's great. Same. I had this resurgence in fascination with the guitar after surprisingly my wife and I went to Taylor Swift's concert. Um,
Oh damn,
just watching her play and like sing and shit, like it was the talent kind of rubbed off, and I was like, dude, I want to do that. That shit is cool as fuck. Like some of the guitar riffs in some of her songs are hard as fuck to play, and they sound
dude,
so cool.
she's incredibly talented, bro.
She
Like
is,
it's musical inspiration. I think people need to
yeah.
look past the fact that she's a pop artist and be like, no, she knows what the hell she's doing, dude.
Yeah, love her or hate her, and I'll admit, she's not the best singer out there in the world, but she brings a talent that moves people and resonates with
Hmm.
people, and
Hmm.
the fact that she is so musically inclined. I mean, if you watch any of her documentaries, she's fucking around on the piano like she's a goddamn pro, and she plays the guitar like nobody's business, all while singing and collaborating with like the top people in the industry, and you're like, that's impressive. It takes some fucking actual chops to get there. So
Incredible talent. And anybody wants to say anything about songwriting, go look up the song she did with T Pain. Like
yeah,
she can rap too. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not saying she's Wu Tang caliber, but damn,
That's so funny, dude. I didn't even know many people saw that. I have that on the. Uh,
dude, I love that one,
that
man.
shit is
It's
so
so
funny.
good.
She's so funny. Anyway, so yeah, that rubbed off on me a little bit, and I came home and
Yeah,
started
yeah,
learning to finger pick some of the some of the like more intricate songs that she has. Crazy, crazy stuff. Um, uh,
indeed.
all right, so talk to me about your post high school journey from after 2000, because I graduated in 2000. I know you were still there.
So you graduated in 2000. I graduated in '02. Graduated with honors. I think it was like
Oh, you
top 20 in the class or
you
something.
fucking stud.
Dude, I nerded out, bro,
Oh,
after
I'm so
like
proud of you.
freshman year. Ah, thanks, man. Thank you. I never took it anywhere, but it's there. The knowledge is there, and I think
Absolutely.
that's what's important.
That's great.
But graduated, and I know we talked about this. I didn't have anybody there when I graduated. I had the opportunity to graduate as a junior, and I wish I would have taken it because I know you left in 2000, but the rest of the crew was still there.
Right.
There was a lot of people that I should have, I spent my time with growing up, and I wish I would have graduated with them because when I left, it was Monique Ortiz, and she graduated. I think she had honors as well and graduated with me, and my cousin Adam
Wow.
Garcia.
Wow.
And that was it. Everybody else kind of went their own ways, and it was like, oh, so this is how we're starting adulthood. Cool.
Now,
And well,
as far as the graduation, like, did everybody graduate? Or are you saying like some of them just dropped off, or
I had a lot of our circle, my grade group, I guess, the
yeah?
people I went into high school with and all that. A lot of them dropped out. A lot
No
of people
kidding.
dropped out. So it was that, and it was just I've always been drawn to older people,
Oh yeah.
and not like grandpa, of course, but anybody older than me. I always say that I was born in the wrong decade. I should have been born 10 years early.
Sure. Sure.
So I got along with you guys, everybody in guitar class, and I just had a handful of people there when I graduated.
Yeah.
It is what it is,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was interesting. So after that, just kept working. I worked at Walmart. Everybody knew me as Hoser from Walmart with the white S10. You know how that was. And got into a little bit of trouble. We'll backtrack to the cholo thing later, but that stayed with me. And for better for worse, I met one of my very best friends um, who we got in trouble together, and he was always there for me. So that was really cool. Shout out Andy, rest in peace.
Oh,
But it was one part of my brain likes to say it was wasted time, but it wasn't. That's where life was, and that's what we were doing, and
well,
it was cool. And
there's something to be said for, I know there is that stigma about wasted time and time not well spent, but
mm,
it, all of that, those experiences, and then that's what you are and who you are, that creates the person that you become. And so I feel like,
yes.
sure, it might not have been the best use of time, but it contributed in a positive manner to the outcome in the end. That's my
Mhm.
personal opinion, and I'll die on that hill. I've
I
done a lot of
100%
shit that
agree.
I've done a lot of shit in my life that I'm not proud of. I did a lot of shit that was a waste of time. I did a lot of shit that was, stupid and unnecessary. Didn't hurt anybody. I wasn't doing
Right.
too much illegal shit. Let's just stop it there. But it didn't benefit my future. But those experiences again tie into who I am today. They helped shape me and um, influence my decisions moving forward in the future. So credit to you for acknowledging that, because those are important, whether wasted time or not. They are important.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely. It's I'll just say that book smarts will never touch street smarts because you have to adapt and overcome, and
yeah,
it contributes to life. You're absolutely right. I'm not mad about it. I got over it.
100%. Um, so jumping back to people dwindling off, um, you know, in our school dynamics, there was always this mentality that and I don't remember how you said it on our first discussion, but you were talking about like these school groups that we hang out with, and you just assume that this is going to be forever, moving forward. This is going to be your crew. You're all going to grow up together. You're going to get old together. You're going to work around each other. Like that's never going to end. But you were telling me that you started experiencing it in school, where people started fading away, doing their own things, dropping out, passing away. um, Speak on that a little bit.
So yeah, that was a big thing. It was the funniest thing is I remember Derek Gallegos, the dude that had the mullet and the glasses and always dressed in black in
Oh
guitar
yes,
class.
dude. Okay, hold on. Let
Yes.
me pause you for just
No,
one
please,
second.
please. Yes, yes, yes.
I can, with pretty certain confidence, say that I did not remember his name. He was one of the ones that I wish I could apologize to, because I used to call him Ewok because of his big hair, and
He wa-
and I never took the time to actually learn his name or learn anything about him. I just kind of gave him a hard time, and then when I'd see that he was getting upset about it, I would back off and apologize. But I don't think that apology ever really resonated. So if you ever see this, Derek, I am so sorry. I was an asshole, and I should have taken the time to learn who you were as a person, and that's my fault, and I'm missing out for it. So apologies. Now,
You know
please.
what? If I would, I need to apologize to him too because that was one of the people that disappeared. So we were same grade, and I know he's a little bit older. He flunked a couple times, but
Really?
we got to know. Yeah, yeah. He was 21 when he was a senior. Now that I
Shut the
think about
fuck
it,
up. He was such a tiny
yes,
dude.
dude. Yeah, he was just, and he was older than all of us. Like it was
Wow.
wild, bro. Like I remember, I think he was buying cigarettes for everybody and everything too at
Oh
one
my
point. So there
god.
was that.
Okay.
But he was, and the reason I bring him up is we met each other in middle school. We went to Alameda together,
Oh wow.
and we ran with all the cholos and the gangbangers and all that then, and we made this pact. We're gonna stay just down for life, bro. We're gonna be cholos forever.
Yeah.
Enter high school, enter freshman year. All the skaters had all the drugs and the cigarettes, and the
Yeah.
skaters did all the cool shit. So guess who turned into skaters by midterms?
Sure.
Yeah. And that was one of the moments where, to what you asked, like, yeah, we're gonna be friends forever, dude, because we've grown, we've adapted, we've changed together, and then high school, it was over. But back to what you asked. Um, Capitol High was real clicky, if you remember. There
Oh,
was cliques
100%.
everywhere. And I like to think of myself as like the capybara of the cliques because I floated with everybody, dude. I was friends with jocks, gangsters, everybody.
I've said that
Um,
in past
but
episodes myself. 100% was the exact same.
yes, dude. Social capybara, bro,
Yes.
100%. So with that, and to my story of, being the gangster cholo skater or whatever mashup of person I was, I think a lot of people started finding their aesthetic. That would be the best way to put it. And I think I was looking for that word the last time we talked about it.
Okay.
You found your aesthetic, you found your people, and it wasn't necessarily like, oh no, I don't want to talk to so and so anymore because they're with the skaters and I hang out with the preppy kids. It wasn't that. It was
No.
just we found where we were in life. And a lot of my friends that I grew up with from like elementary school, Jason Martinez is one of them. I don't know if you remember him. He hung
I
out with
don't.
John Tennyson and all them. Those guys found that preppy style and rolled with it. That was their thing all their lives, and we stayed friends. But some people took it to another level. It went from aesthetic to personality, and I feel like it just like, no, no, I can't associate with them. I'm friends with these guys. I'm like, yeah, I'm friends with those guys too. And I'm over here with juggalo makeup and torn up pants. Like, it's cool. No, 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 I couldn't associate with you anymore. And nobody in particular. It's just that was kind of what happened.
Yeah.
And people spread out. And some people I never talked to again. And other people were like adults and were like, that was dumb. How you doing? How's life?
Right. 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 Right.
So, yeah.
Well, that's a really good point, and I feel like a lot of us, and it's weird. I've experienced it myself personally, where I bump into or come across somebody online that I went to high school with who, wouldn't have given me the time of the day or was a fucking bully to me. And they're just decent people now. And they're just like, you know what? I'm so sorry. I had a lot of growing up to do. And they apologize. And I'm like, that's incredible. You didn't have to, but, I already looked up to you in, in school. So it's crazy
Yeah.
that you're offering me an apology, but I absolutely accept it. And thank you for acknowledging that because it would have even escaped my mind. That would have never even been an acknowledgement to me.
You almost forgive it because we were dumb kids.
Sure.
If somebody comes up to me and they don't apologize, I don't hold it against them
No.
because we were, dude,
Yeah, yeah.
holy shit,
For every one of them that was doing something to us, we were doing that to somebody else. Shit rolls downhill, and we were part of that actively.
everybody was a bully in some degree, dude. And I
Yeah,
think the most important part is to come to terms with it and
yeah,
apologize to ourselves and accept it.
yeah, yeah. That's a
Because
really good point.
yeah, like you said, shit trickled downhill, and I think now as adults we brush it off and just
Yeah, it
we're
was what it
here.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So let's see. So tell me about your childhood coming up in Santa Fe.
So grew up poor, as most of us did, and there's varying levels of poor, but as you mentioned earlier, New Mexico's not one of the best states. Poverty's everywhere, and it was just a part of life.
Well, to
Um,
that note, I grew up in a real quick. Let me spout my history related to that statement. We, when I was in first grade, our house burnt down in Penasco. Then we moved into a camper. So it was literally
mhm.
like a tiny single room camper that you pull behind the truck. And there was five of us living in there at that time. And then my other brother was
Holy
born. So
shit.
there was six of us. So we upgraded our camper to a little bit bigger of a camper. It was like more of a travel trailer. And then, we lived
Mhm.
in that for 5 or 6 years. And then my mom and dad bought an actual mobile home and we lived in that until I moved out. Like I didn't experience living in an actual home maybe for a couple of years as a little kid. And then until I bought my first home, I didn't know what that was. Like a house was a house to me, whether it was on wheels or not. Like that was just,
Yeah.
and yeah, the poverty is crazy. The I won't diminish our state too much because there's a lot of good done here, but
Right.
also the poverty is rampant. So please, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Please tell me
Oh, no
about
interruption
your
at all. But to
childhood.
piggyback off of that, oh, you're good, man. To piggyback off of that, though, I think the fact that we accept that we are usually poor and grow up poor, we learn how to adapt back to that,
Yeah,
and we make the best of what we have.
yeah,
And that was the thing. I grew up in a camper trailer myself. I think it was a one-bedroom camper. Me and my brother slept in the living room. Folks had their bedroom.
yep,
And then, like you say, we got an actual mobile home, and it was this used, like
yes,
1970s mobile home. And we're just like, it's an actual house.
yes. That's
And then,
crazy.
and that was cool. All my friends lived in mobile homes. I grew up near Cottonwood Trailer Park, so I was
Ooh,
friends with everybody in a trailer. And we got our real house. My dad got his big promotion, and we got this. It was the biggest single wide on the market. It was an 18 by 80 mobile home.
yeah.
Bro, it was a mansion. It was a mansion. I didn't care that you had a
100%.
house on the ground, bro. Look at my house. Like, it was cool. And yeah, like you say, if it wasn't a mobile home, it was an apartment. I didn't live in a house until 3, 4 years before I left Santa Fe because I was
Yeah,
renting a home from a friend.
yeah.
Dude bought a bigger house and said, "Go ahead and stay here, and I'll charge you." And
That's wild.
that was weird. That was weird, dude. Like,
Bro,
no noise. There's a windstorm and the house doesn't shake.
yeah, dude, that's so funny because there's that term for like trailer trash and redneck and all that stuff that's associated with mobile homes, but I don't feel like anybody that I knew who lived in a trailer was fit that stigma. None of us were that. We were just regular
None of us,
kids, but
dude.
that's just regular life in the poverty of New Mexico. Like, yeah, sure, there was those kids who lived in actual houses, but I don't ever recall in my entire life any of my friends looking down on me because I lived in a trailer. Several times they
It
came and
was the
stayed at my
norm.
house. They came and hung out with, like, it was not like, oh, I'm better than you because I live in an actual house. It was like very equal. But there, I feel like there's a problem with that as well because normalizing that kind of accepts the poverty and nobody does anything to kind of advance
Yeah.
that and like say, hey, we should probably not have so many mobile homes in New Mexico. Let's try to build houses or something. Like, it's just accepted as the norm, which is cool for the interpersonal relationships, but not for the economy, I guess.
Yeah, because then it's kind of this. It kind of creates a disparity now in present time. With real estate going through the roof, it
Yeah,
creates a disparity for those that can afford houses, and then it
hundred
is going to
percent,
turn into that.
100%.
So yeah, I feel that, but we just kind of keep on. We don't look. It's home.
It
It
is
doesn't matter if it's up on bricks or it's on a foundation. I think we see it as home and we make the best of it. And
yeah,
while it does create a pain point for us, it also doesn't bother us.
right. Um, Tell me about your schools. What schools did you go to?
Went to elementary to Agua Fria, kindergarten through fifth, because my class was the one, or I guess class, yeah, it's where they started experimenting with middle schools. So we went kindergarten through fifth at Agua Fria. That was awesome. Some of my favorite years growing up because it was a small community school. That was really before Santa Fe grew. Agua Fria was really its own community. We lived in a village. It
Right.
was our own village, very detached from Santa Fe in that sense.
Yeah.
And because it was such a small community, everybody was integrated. We were in our own grades, but everybody got along with everybody. And one of my favorite parts was the special needs kids. They weren't isolated. It wasn't just like, oh no, 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 they're no. We hung out with them.
Yeah.
We'd go spend time with them. And as a kid, it taught a lot of acceptance. Like we accept
Yeah.
everybody now for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing was hanging out with the Down syndrome kids because they could come play with us. The kids in the wheelchairs and stuff, we always hung out, made time for them. But we really had this bond with everybody with Down syndrome because they could come play with us. So we'd
Right.
be playing basketball and playing on the swings and
Right.
everything. It continued into middle school, into high school, and into life where you're just accepting everybody. So shout out to all the staff at Our Fria. You guys made us good adults.
Oh,
It
love
was a
that.
good lesson.
That's great.
It was awesome, dude. Awesome. And then fifth grade, we talked about this last time, so this will segue into the rest of it real quick. I was a nerd, poor little nerd,
I'm still a nerd,
and
so
who's still a fucking nerd, but now I look cool. There's that difference.
yeah, sure, sure, sure.
But I get bullied as such. You got bullied for being a nerd, and all the little gangbanger cholos would always be like, that's not cool.
Yeah,
And they're like, hey, I'm gonna fail this class. Can you help me out with my work? I'm like, yeah, sure, I can help you. And they're like, this kid's gonna help us pass. And
yeah,
so they let me hang out with them. And as time went on, they're like, you're cool and all, but you gotta start dressing like us. You can't look the
yeah.
way you look hanging out with us. I know
Yep,
we talked about this last
we
time. So I was
did.
like, cool, Dickies, rolling hard shirts and everything. I had little summer jobs here and there, so I bought my own clothes and I rolled with it.
Yeah,
Enter Alameda Middle School. We did sixth grade to eighth grade there, and that's where cliques started. That's where we really started to grow up. And the biggest groups we had there was the cholos and the skaters. Matter of fact, seventh grade, there was a huge brawl out front of the school. All the cholos fought all the skaters.
That's wild.
Cops got called. It was insane. We were smart. We were watching from the sidelines. You know, I'm not
Yeah,
trying to get, I'm not trying to get my ass whipped for getting suspended for a fight. So, but it just kept rolling, and fortunately, unfortunately, you know, molded me to who I am. But damn, it the lifestyle came with it. So by eighth grade, it was this full blown, you know, junior wannabe gangbanger type shit, and
yeah, dude.
that kept rolling.
That's a really you just brought something up that triggered in my brain. That's a really weird thing that happens in those early years of schooling, elementary and junior high, where because you're in a different clique, you have to hate this other clique. And like that was always foreign to me. That was always so weird because I had friends from every clique. Like there's some of the skaters were really cool people. Some of them were fucking assholes. Some of the cholos were really cool people. Some of them were assholes. Some of the jocks,
Mm-hmm.
most of the jocks were assholes. but 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 there
Mm-hmm.
was still some cool people. Like I had friends in every single one of those groups. So to sit there back and imagine hating somebody because of what they like, that's such a foreign, like weird concept now that you think about it as an adult. Like that's like me being a fucking airplane nerd and hating on people who like Pokemon. Like
Yeah,
we are the same
yeah.
thing.
We're
Like
still chasing shit, man. Damn.
so yeah, those fights I think happened in every school because I went to DeVargas and we had very similar brawls.
De Vargas was the same. Yep.
Cholos versus it was like the gangbangers from the south side fighting the skaters and the metalheads fighting the cholos, and it was always something. That's what a
Yeah.
weird thing. What a fucking waste of
It was.
time.
Dude, it really was, man. Sorry, I'm having like tripod issues
You're
here,
fine.
but it was, man. It was like, you know, looking back, and I think back to that being the capybara at Capitol. That's where I realized it because, like I said earlier, the cholo turned into a skater. I was still a cholo, but I was like not, and I liked it. I accepted it within the first month or two of being in high school.
Yeah.
So same, dude. Like I don't know where that came from, and one funny thing about it, my sister, my not blood sister, that's a whole other story, but she was dating this guy I went to school with in middle school, high school. And I remember her pulling me aside and she's like, he said something funny about you. I was like, what's that? She goes, so like Hoser, is he like a rocker cholo? Or I haven't talked to him in years. This is way after high school that they dated, of course. And she's like, well, I don't understand him. And she's like, yeah, rocker cholo sums it up, but
That's
she's like,
wild.
we're not covering that.
It's it's funny that shit is so crazy. I remember like when I first got into, well, I think it was about 10th grade when like the Menace jeans and Jinko jeans and all those came into style.
Yeah.
And like
Yes.
it was such a new thing that my parents were absolutely dead set against. I will never wear those things. And so I remember actually my friend Jason Herrera gave me a pair of Venice jeans, and I would carry them in my backpack, and I'd leave the house in my regular jeans or some shorts, and I would change on the way to the bus stop and wear those to school and then change before I got home. It's such a weird fucking thing, but yeah, like
Weird.
the style, because you had the cholos were always true to their style, and this is, I'm segueing into the cholo movement, but then you had like, I don't even know what to call the Jinko movement, because the preppy kids were wearing Jinkos, the fucking
Mm-hmm.
rockers were wearing Jinkos, the skaters were wearing Jinkos. Like that was just an overall universal style. Um, and but the cholos, they never got into that. They never got out of their creased dickies and buttoned up shoes or buttoned up shirts and their Nike Cortez, and that was, they always stayed true to that. Now
It
the
was 100%.
yeah, yeah. The cholo movement is really prevalent in New Mexico and always will be, and it's actually very socially accepted now. The lowriders and the whole cholo movement, and it's crazy because I said this on the first part, but you looked the part. You actually fit the part when you were dressed up that way. But when you opened your mouth, yeah, sure, when you were around them, you had the accent and you said some of the Spanglish words that they would say, but depending on what crowd you were speaking to, your accent would change and you would just instantly turn into white boy mode and you had like the most enunciated accent and you were just you again. But the
Yeah,
second any of them addressed you, you turned right back into one of them and you had that accent and you were just like, no, 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 I'm both, bro. I'm a chameleon. I camouflage with both of these groups. So it was really cool. It reminded me of myself because I very much became Miklo in that sense because, um, in the mariachi, it was sort of the same for me. Like when I was hanging around with all my
yeah,
my thick Hispanic accents or the friends who spoke nothing but Spanish, I took that on. I became that persona.
mhm,
But then when I was hanging
yeah,
out with all my skater friends or you or anybody, it was just, oh, I'm just a white dude. I'm just a regular old James. Such
yeah.
That's another weird dynamic. But um, how long did that cholo culture lifestyle stick with you?
So I guess to start that, I saw a T-shirt once, and I need to track down that T-shirt and buy it. On the front of it, it said "Cholo in retirement" in big old school script. On the back, it says "Don't make me come out of retirement."
Oh, that's so good. I love it.
And that's kind of my mentality now.
Sure.
There was the to your thing about changing, accents and personas. I discovered it really went back to that protection thing. Shout out to my boys in fifth
Yes.
grade who at least looked out for me, but said, "Hey, you got to identify with us too." That's where it came from. It was this like when I'm with the vatos, I got to be a vato, but they accept me. They know that that's not me, and that's okay. But I play the part when I'm there.
Right.
It's like you see the videos of like the black kids that grew up in the Mexican communities. They're still down with their black roots, and they always will be. But because of where they are, they speak Spanish. They dress the part. Hell,
Yes.
there's the black vaquero speaks better Spanish than I do. He will
100%.
blow me out of the water any day of the
100%.
week. But you still stay true to your roots wherever you came up. And as just as Chicanos as a whole, we're different from cholos. We're different from Mexicanos. Everything's different, especially New Mexico Chicanos, dude. New Mexicans, we're our own breed.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
we just pick things up and adapt and everything. And I think that's where a lot of it came from. So back to the original question, you get new stuff, into the 2000s. I liked the phrase, Juan Gambino coined the phrase, um, no, no, Baby Bash, modern day cholo. It was Baby Bash that said that in the song.
Sure.
And I'm like, it is the modern day cholo because that's when Texas hip hop started taking over Houston, all that. And I
Yeah.
have
Hustle Town.
lots of roots in Texas because of my dad and some of my family members. They grew up there. So I took that on. And little by little, the cholos started going out. The Dickies was with like the snowman shirt, or you had the black T-shirt with the gold chain. Like it just fizzled out a little bit, but it never fully went away. And it's just always been like a little thing there. New interests come through. Like you remember lowriders and all that. Now it's race cars and Japanese imports. Would I get a lowrider? Absolutely. Do I see one on the street? I
100%.
drop everything I'm doing to drool over that car.
Yes. 100%. Same.
But it evolves. Yeah, you evolve. You never forget where you're from. And one of the biggest things about that, in coming to terms with that we mentioned earlier, was this tattoo
Oh,
right
look
here,
at you. That's
lowrider,
cool. Love it.
my lowrider man there.
Love it.
And having it right here on my forearm has always it bothered me for a while because I'm like, that's not me anymore. No, 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 no. I read an article about a guy who had a ton of tattoos. It was in Tattoo Magazine. He had a tattoo of the devil from behind with a very visible ball sack right here on his forearm.
That's
And so
hilarious.
they asked him about that. Like, do you regret any of your tattoos? Maybe that one in particular. And he goes, it's a little embarrassing. Yeah. He goes, but I don't regret them because that reminds me of where I was in that point in time.
Sure.
And I love that. So I'm
Yeah.
very accepting of this tattoo and I'm proud of this tattoo because that's who I was at that time. I was a
It's
cholo, Mr. Lowrider.
it's a very nice
It's
one.
cool. So yeah, the cholo's always there. I have my emergency cholo outfit there, the white Dickies with the Raiders jersey always ready to go. But it's
Well,
just I think just as people we evolve.
and it's wild because look at your appearance now. You look more like David Draymond than a cholo. you're just on
It's
another level.
that's it's different. The beard now. I like to joke about how if 20 something Jose No, I'm sorry, Hoser from 20 something
There
saw
you go.
2026 Jose in the corporate world, he'd be furious. I remember saying, fuck
Jose.
Old Navy, Holmes. I would never shop at Old Navy and Gap. Fuck those stores. I'd be in the mall. Fuck you, Gap. 80% of my
Oh.
fucking wardrobe is from the Gap and Old Navy now. I wear Vans shoes, not for the look, because they look cool, sure, but my back is fucked up. It's the only thing that makes my back feel good. So, I could see 22-year-old Hoser going, what do you mean?
That's
What the
so
fuck do you mean
funny,
you work in
dude.
the corporate world? Shut up. It's going to be okay.
I
It's going to be okay.
That's funny because you just made me think of Miller's Outpost, and I miss Anchor Blue so bad. Those are my favorite fucking jeans on the planet. Always will
At
be.
least once a month, bro, I talk about, Uncle Blue,
Yeah,
can't find
dude.
any jeans that fit me.
Yeah, dude. And they had so many options and so many different sizes and comfort levels. I hate that it
Bro,
went under.
they taught us so much about our clothes, though, because I still use the head thing to measure the pants. It still works. So if the cuff fits the crown, it's 20 inches. If it fits over, it's 23. I don't know why we did that, but after losing Anchor Blue did so much damage to our
Oh,
fashion, bro.
100%, man. Yeah,
It was painful.
Miller's Outpost.
I'm in a grown man in the store, like, yep, these will work.
um, you said something about the Lolos turning, that culture turning more to the import scene. And I remember
Mhm.
that transition in school. And I remember thinking, oh, wow, like, is this the end of the Lolos? Like, is that going to go out of style now? And, fast forward to 2026, and it's more a part of our culture than ever before. Like, they're putting up lowrider
Yes.
art along the highway, and um, lowriders are being accepted into the Smithsonian, and like it's crazy. But I absolutely the same with you. Like if somebody offered me a Lolo, was like, "Hey, I can't have this car anymore. Do you want it?" I'd 100% yes, absolutely. I would love to build one. I just don't have the time or money anymore. But they're beautiful. They're fun. They're unique. It's just a really cool style of car in history. And that's not to say that I don't like several other cars. Like there's several muscle cars that I'd be happy as shit to own. I love imports. I build imports all the time. I love them. I love show cars.
Yeah.
I'm all over the board, but there's something special about Lolo's and what it did for us internally. I remember going to car shows with Eric Nussbaum as a kid and seeing all the lowriders and the hopping competitions and the car audio. That's what got me into car audio. Like it holds a
Yes.
really special place in my
Yeah.
heart.
Agreed, man. Some of my best memories growing up are at lowrider shows.
Yeah,
Back to that homie Andy that I talked about. Um, Dude was like impervious to weed. Like this guy just could not get high. He was a big boy, man, 6'3", 300 pounds, big boy.
damn.
Well, we were going to a car show in Albuquerque one year. Quick little story about that.
Sure.
My buddy made weed tea,
Okay.
and he says we're gonna have this, and he gives this huge cup to Andy and says, "This is for you. You're getting high today."
Oh my
It was his
god.
cousin. He's like, "All right." So he drinks the whole thing. Waited. We get to the hopping contest, and Andy's going watching the car. I'm like, "Oh
You
no!" And I
lied.
nudge John, his cousin. I go, "Look," and Andy's just. And I remember it specifically. It was 64 Impala, and when it hit the ground one of the times, one of the headlights popped out.
Oh
Normal
shit.
shit to fall off of a car,
Yeah.
but the headlight pops out, and Andy goes, and I'm like, "Oh,
he's
oh no."
he's
So, but
high.
there you go. If it wasn't for the lowriders, we wouldn't have those silly things to reflect on because
Sure.
it was everything to us. So,
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's gonna be there forever. You can't get rid of it.
Yep. Okay, let's move on to we spoke about trauma in the first part, hoser trauma specifically, and how the machismo culture tied into that, and your friends evolved to fights, and girls friend you more than like, or like having girl groups as friends more than guys, relating to women more than men. I guess growing up, because a large portion of my um, I wasn't really part of that machismo movement. I was not. I wasn't a big dude. Never. I didn't have muscles. I wasn't a jock. So I wasn't accepted by those kind of people. yes, I had the personality to be friends with them, but it's not like they're gonna call me on the weekends and say, "Hey, let's go do this," because they're gonna go do fucking musclehead shit, and I'm not that. And I
Yeah,
found it a
yeah.
lot more easy to relate to women than men, and I feel like you had that too. You had always surrounded by women, but it was more of a anti-machismo movement and more of a relate by personality. So speak on your trauma and how that tied into those things.
So a lot of that started, and I know we talked about it, and kind of good that we're redoing it because it gave me a little more time to have some insight into what we
Yeah.
talked about. A lot of that started growing up as a kid. My dad was born in Mexico.
Oh, no shit.
Migrated here. Yeah, yeah. He was born in Naica, Chihuahua, Mexico. Closest city to that is Delicias, but the city he was born in is popular for the selenite caves,
Oh, wow.
the Cave of Crystals, as it's called. So a lot of history there. But
Cool.
that being said, being born Mexican, machismo is just everything. It's
Absolutely.
literally everything. And of course, it has changed in recent years, which is wonderful, but it didn't change back then. So, you had to be a tough guy. You had to be a man. No, 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 no. I don't know if it's my ADHD. I don't know what it is. I like pretty colors. I'll be honest. So
Sure.
like
Who doesn't?
makeup, things like that. And I wasn't out there trying to wear makeup or nothing, but the woman aesthetic had more attraction to me for whatever reason.
Sure.
And but Dad said, "Fuck no, no son of mine," and Dad's cool with it now. He's in his 70s. He's the chillest, one of the chillest old dudes I know now.
That's
It's
cool.
great.
Love that.
But back then, none of that stuff. So that kind of stuck with me, and I still fight with it to this day. It's trauma, and
Oh,
you got to
yeah.
work through it. But with that being said, I think I kind of gravitated towards hanging out with women more because of that. It was cool. Oh,
Sure.
Hoser gets all the girls. I wasn't trying to date any of these girls. It was
Right.
just, to your point, there was a piece there. Oh, y'all talk about makeup. What makeup you guys talking about? Oh, you got a new eyeliner? Okay, tell me about it, because it included me in getting away from the machismo, which actually caused a lot of problems for me in life. It's no
Yeah.
knock on my parents, it's no knock on my environment. Everybody did the best they could with what they had,
Right.
including my parents.
Right.
They raised me the best they could with what they knew. You don't get a manual of how to be a human, how to be a parent, how to be a sibling. That doesn't exist. So, as I got older, it was cool. I just hung out with the girls. I had my homies. But to your point about them going to do macho shit, the girls going to do girly shit, I hung out by myself outside of school and
Yeah.
stuff. I was always a bit of a loner in that sense
Yeah.
because it was weird to fit into either side.
Same. And that's really wild. Your reasoning for hanging out with the girls versus mine. Like I said, it was because I felt more comfortable around the girls. I could be myself more around the girls, but
Right.
also there was always a couple or one or two that I was crushing on. And I thought, oh well, if I'm nice to the entire group, well then they're gonna see that and appreciate that. And this is gonna tie into what we're gonna move into next. But also like I felt like I could be maybe a secret agent for them. Like there was always girls telling me about their crushes on guys and how they wanted to talk to
Yes.
this dude, but they didn't know how. And
Yes.
I helped facilitate that a couple times to some success. Like there was a couple relationships that I helped enable in high school that lasted through the entire high school and beyond. So it really was nice that I could actually be a friend without having ulterior motives. Although in the back of my mind, I kind of always happened to hope that something more would happen. Never did, but that
Yeah.
was neither here nor there. I was still okay with it, regardless.
Right. Right.
But that brings me to my next point, and that we had spoken about was girls having crushes on you, but not saying anything, or us being too stupid to see the signs, and then finding out later in life that the whole time they were crushing on you, you were crushing on them, but nothing ever happened because neither side made the move. And that's that's really wild because there was some that I found out later in life that I was like, no fucking way. Like you were way the fuck out of my league. Why the fuck? What was wrong with you? If you're crushing on me, like there was way better dudes
You
than
what the
me.
fuck?
Like it's a really weird dynamic, being a kid. Life is fucking
Mm-hmm.
strange, dude. And things like that make it even more strange. And I don't think to that point that I ever had any regrets. I love how my life turned out, and I love the people I dated in the past. I love the where I ended up and the friends I made along the way and all that stuff. So I wouldn't have changed any of it. But it's a really weird thing to think back and see that. Did you experience any of that with your female groups?
Yes, yes. And I remember we talked about this last time, and I wanted to bring it back up again because
Please.
maybe it'll resonate with some people watching this. Yes, few of my lady girlfriends, we use girlfriends as girls who were friends. I had crushes on them, but to your point, I didn't want to ruin it because deep down inside, I was still that awkward, nerdy kid, and it was like the sheer fact that these girls acknowledge me and want to be my friend. I don't want to spoil that.
Sure.
Fast forward 20 some years, a little while back, I was talking with one of my old classmates who was one of those friends. We've just always stayed in, and we just always stayed in touch, and like you said, life went on, whatever. And I always had a crush on her. We were talking about that. And she goes, you could have made your move, right? I totally would have dated you. And it was like,
Damn
I
it.
had my suspicions, and I told her this. I told her this straight up. I said, I didn't want to ruin our friendship. The fact that, like I said, you acknowledged me, you accepted me, and you were kind to me when people weren't necessarily kind to people like me. I
Sure.
didn't want to ruin that. And I had my suspicions. I had the crush in the back of my head, but I valued our friendship too much to ruin that. And you have a hint of regret in it, like knowing, just in that moment of like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well,
Like,
to that point though, like, how do you know that it was going to ruin it? What if it made it better? You know what I mean? There's always that
yeah,
chance.
and I didn't know, but I've always had this panic and like thought for the worst. That's one of my biggest things that I work through even now as an adult of like,
Sure.
well, it could have been better, but if it fucks it up, you're fucked, and then you're gonna worry
Sure.
about it for the rest
Okay.
of your
Yeah.
life, and
Yeah, I
and
can
like
see
I
that.
say, to the way you said, I love my life, I love where I am in now,
Yeah.
but in that little moment that she said that to me, I was like,
Yeah.
really?
Damn it.
But I'm happy with where I am. It's teeny little bump, and it's nothing to worry about. But yeah, that was a weird part about always hanging out with girls was that you never knew for sure. And as a paranoid as a fucking kid I was,
Yeah. That's fair.
I was
That's
just
fair.
happy to be there. Yeah.
Um Next on my list that we spoke about was family travel and international travel. I don't know how we led into that, but tell me about your experiences with travel.
So family travel was boring. It was part of the poverty thing, but we never, even at that, we never really went anywhere for fun. We would go fishing and stuff. That was cool. But like vacations was always to go visit family. So it was just like, okay, everybody else, what'd you do over summer? Oh, I went to the beach. I went here. I went there. Hold on, let me unplug my phone. It's freaking out. These people, it was, a little bit of jealousy, and like I understood financially it was a problem, but again, it was like,
Sure.
well, we can't go to like Elephant Butte just to go hang out. No, we're going to the lake near the house and that's it. But we're gonna go visit your grandma over the summer so you can bake in 120-degree weather. Okay.
That included
And
Mexico,
now the
though,
thing
right?
is, my dude, they live. My grand, all my family lived in this little town called Presidio, Texas. Southwest, middle of fucking nowhere. Everything was ghost towns. My grandma's
Oh,
house was haunted, fiercely haunted. I don't know how much people subscribe to that, but
please
oh
tell me
god,
about that.
dude, her house. So it was this old house. Was down a street right off the main drag through town. Nothing to do there, but it was cool. Um, there was a room in the house that was like partially torn down, and if you asked about it, Grandma would immediately change the subject.
Oh shit, really?
Um, there was oh god, like she would vehemently change the subject. Um, there was one room in the house that was colder than the rest of the house. It could be 110 degrees outside, and it would be ice cold in there. Yet that was the most peaceful room in the house. Um, we'd sleep in the living room. So it was living room, and then the dining room in front of the living room, and up against the wall here was a mirror. You'd be sleeping on the couch, and there'd be figures passing in front of the mirror that weren't there.
Hard pass.
Um,
Hard pass.
worst part was walking home. So grandma would send us to the store up at the top of the street. Hey, go get some sodas, get me some chips. Let's get ready for dinner. Cool. Walk over there, maybe a 10-minute walk. Walking back, you couldn't get to the house soon enough. It was like you were walking on a treadmill. Like you could see the house, but you never got there. And I would always guess, what took you guys so long? And we're like, we didn't. We
We
bought
did
sodas and
it.
candy, and we were walking back, and my mom's like, "You guys need not take long like that." And we're like, "But we didn't,
we
fuck."
straight there and
So
back.
it was this creepy little place, and that, along with the fact that there was nothing to do, it wasn't the best vacations. International travel, though, to segue in, only place I've ever been was Mexico, but that was fun. We
That's
would go to
cool.
this little town called Ojinaga. We could see the downtown from my grandma's backyard. Beautiful city. We go see churches and go shopping and do all this
Nice.
cool stuff. But there was also the poverty there too,
Sure.
So it was, but it was cool, being able to see Mexico before everything got wild. That was cool. It was
That's
beautiful,
yeah,
beautiful
that's
experience.
crazy. We didn't really do like my parents did their best to take us to Disneyland a couple times as a child. Um, but I don't blame them. That we were poor as fuck. Like they were making it the best they could. My dad was a horse trainer, so he didn't have like a steady 9 to 5 job, and
Yeah.
my mom was a homemaker, so we didn't have a huge income. Which going back to our houses, that explains why we were where we were. And so a lot of times, like I know that my mom's family would help pay for us to get out to California and go to Disneyland or whatever, but I didn't take my first international trip until I was 23. Or I'm sorry, until 2023 when we went to Egypt. That was the first
Hmm.
time I left the country.
Yeah,
Fucking wild. Um,
it's wild, dude.
but there's so much world out there to explore, and since that trip, I got bit by the bug bad, and we've been getting out a lot. Do you have any
Yeah.
plans to go explore the world, especially working in the industry that you work in?
Yeah, we our favorite place on earth is Vegas. So my lady and I, we go there a few times a year, and we're like, "Oh, we're gonna go here." Nope, Vegas. But also, it's therapy for us. That
Yeah,
place is really kind of a cut loose, and
I,
some
I
people like it, some don't.
I think we talked about
It's
this
a
on the part that's actually we got the audio. As I think we covered that whole
okay,
Vegas thing, so
okay.
we don't have to go into that yet because I'm pretty sure that's coming up.
Perfect. So, but with that, we kind of got that out of our systems, and we're actually going to Connecticut in August. We're going to
Okay,
go visit my lady's family and friends, so that'll be really cool. International travel, we've been eyeballing. It is pricey to go, but now
fuck
having
yeah,
the benefits working at the airline, we have a few things in mind. We're
good.
thinking Germany.
Yes, absolutely do
We
it.
want to Yeah. Oh God, dude, that's
Fly
top of the list.
Lufthansa.
We want to go to Germany. So, but yes, we got to hit that 380
The
before it
380 on the
retires,
way
man.
there, and the 747 on the way home. You can do it all through LAX. Do it.
Yes, sir. That's the beauty. We get out to LA, miss a flight. Oh no, we're stranded in
Yeah,
LA
yeah,
for a night.
yeah.
Darn.
Oh darn.
Oh no. But yeah, it's just we have so much going on in our lives. I think that's why we haven't done it. It's
Sure,
it's there, but Nora has her little business running, and I think I give shouts out to that on the second part of the video.
you do,
But
but do it again just in
it's
case.
just shout out windowtrinkets.com. You need some sparkles in your house? Go look at us. We do, well, she does cool stuff. I do the web and the marketing and setting
Hell
up and
yeah.
all that, but she's the creative mastermind behind it. She makes sun catchers and all these pretty sparkly things. And as one of the kids at our booth last weekend when we were doing a craft fair said, there was this two-tier resin container with glitter. I could put my dabs in the bottom and my weed on the top. So
Oh
there's
my
something for
god.
everybody.
Oh,
So we're like, yeah, yeah,
that's
yes,
so
you can, my
funny.
good man. Yes.
That's so funny. Well, that's a perfect tie-in because the next that we only have two things that we didn't or that we lost in that conversation, but the next one was our weed use, um,
Hmm.
drug use, I should say. So I'll just real quick get mine out of the way. I tried almost everything under the sun except for like the major chemical stuff. Like I never did. I
Hmm.
didn't do heroin. I didn't do acid. I didn't do crack. Any of that kind of stuff. But I tried pretty much everything else. Nothing really spoke to me the way weed did. So I spent a good chunk of my life as a weed head, and never let that dip into my. I went to work to earn money to pay my bills. Bills were always paid.
Right.
I
Yeah.
worked outside of work to afford weed. So that was my whole thing. And then 2007, early 2008, I quit to go work for my current job. Because I chose money over weed. So that was my whole experience with drugs and weed. But well, tell me about yours.
So weed's always been prevalent. My dad is lifelong pothead, and
Really?
now that oh man,
That's crazy,
I he is one of the three people I've never been able to outsmoke. And in my heyday, dude,
dude.
smoked so much, and that man just would always put us all
Bro,
under the table.
the Mexican culture and especially the elder generations, they are like dead set against it. That's a drug. That's bad. Like that's crazy.
He was he's always been a rebel. That was the thing, the
Good for
Mexican
him.
roots and all that never left him. But that man, he was raised differently
That's
than the rest of
interesting.
his family. He was passed around from family member to family member as a
Wow.
kid. Like he had a rough life. So they said, "Fuck me, no, 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 fuck you," and
Good for him.
that's been a good thing that he taught me.
Sure.
Don't let people hold you down and hold you
Sure.
back. So yeah,
That's cool.
but yeah, that all grew from him. Watching dad. Dad's doing this, and we're like, it's fine, it's fine.
Right.
But I think he is the one most responsible for it because since I was able to sit up, he would put me in front of the TV to watch Cheech and Chong movies with him.
Yes.
All time favorite actors. Like I can quote next movie word for word because that's the one that he would let me watch because it had the least, sexual and stuff a kid really shouldn't be watching.
Sure.
So that's been my favorite growing up. But he'd be outside getting high, and it was nothing to us. In fact, I remember the first time being super high. I was 8 or 9 years old. We were out for a cruise in his lowrider. Back to the lowrider stuff. He had
Oh,
a '55
awesome.
Chevy pickup, slammed on the
Shut
ground, and
up. That's
we're out for a
amazing.
drive. Dude, I wish I had pictures of that thing.
So do
But
I.
we're out for a ride, and he fires up a joint. He says, "Don't open your window. The smoke's gonna go out through my window." Well, Dad didn't realize he was hotboxing the truck, and we're listening to Pink Floyd to the wall, and it was on cassette. And I open up the booklet because I'm bored just driving around, and it's that big butt. It's like inside. I don't know if for anybody who's not familiar with Pink Floyd, there's like the lower half of a body, and it's the butt with eyes and a mouth. And I remember just sitting there. I looked at that album like 1,000 times, but in that moment, I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" And I fully, vividly remember that. It just took off from there,
Oh, that's too funny.
And with all that, just smoking weed was always a constant, but I'd experienced psychedelics were always my thing. I
Sure.
am like junior cosmonaut, and it's just psychedelics were great. Did salvia, shrooms, all
Oh,
that
that's
sort of
crazy.
stuff. Um,
I
but my one experience with acid, I'll share this one because, oh
please.
boy, my brother hits me up, and we were still at my mom's house. And my parents were always cool. They're like, "We'd rather you get high here
Yeah,
than be out and get in trouble."
that was pretty common.
Cool. Yeah, it was totally common. So my brother's like, "Hey, come to my room." Okay. So I walk in there and I'm like, "You ready to smoke?" He goes, "Oh, no, 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 we're not smoking today." He's like, "I got some shrooms." And I was like, "Okay." And this
Yeah.
sadly was my first experience with shrooms too. I was like 8 and probably like 19, 20. And he goes, "Yeah, let's try these. These are good." So we eat them. Nothing. He goes, "Well, it takes a while." He goes, "Let's smoke a joint." Smoke a joint. Nothing. "Let's have some orange juice. That surely will kick these into effect." And drink the orange juice. Nothing. He goes, "I'm sorry, dude." He goes, "I 2, 3 hours passed by." And he goes,
Oh
"These
God.
must have been dozens." Sorry. I'm like, "Dude, don't be sorry. It's fine." Or it felt like 2, 3 hours. I'm going to tell you why in a second. And I said, "Dude, don't sweat us. I got to go to work in the morning. I'm going to go to bed." "All right, cool." So go lay down. And I'm looking up at the ceiling. I had posters all over my ceiling. I had the Joker's cards from ICP, but right over my bed was Lita from wrestling, from WWE. And it's Lita in a bikini. And I'm staring up at her, and her body starts getting dark, and she had a shiny bikini on. I remember her boobs turned jet black into eye sockets, and Lita turned into a skull that started melting off of the ceiling. So I cover my face, freaking like, "What the fuck?" And I look up. There's spiders and cockroaches
Oh,
and
what the
rats
fuck?
all over my room. There's voices talking. The walls are melting, and I'm just like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like I hadn't done mushrooms, sure, but I knew what mushrooms did. It wasn't this.
It sure wasn't
And
that.
it was about 10 minutes of just freaking the absolute fuck out to where I finally got myself to fall asleep. Next morning, my brother bursts in the room like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "The motherfucker still, the shrooms were dead, so he laced them with acid." I'm like, "Oh, well, that explains last night." And he goes, "What happened?" I told him the story. He goes, "Are you okay?" Because my brother is like druggy supreme. He's like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "I'm fine." He goes, "Okay, if you need anything," he's like, "Let me." I'm like, "Dude, I'm okay." So, yeah, that was probably the peak
That's
of my
wild.
drug experimenting. But outside of that, like you, I never got into heroin, crack, any of that.
Yeah.
Um, I think the wildest drug I ever did outside of acid was what they called Cocoa Puffs. You'd sprinkle
Yeah,
Coke on a bowl of weed, and
I did that.
mm,
Yeah, it
it
wasn't
wasn't
for
for me.
me. Yeah,
It was an experience. I'm like, no,
it
I'm
just made
good.
my
I'm
weed
good.
taste bad. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
And
and
then
like,
I did coke a few times with my friends, and I just it always made me more anxious than enjoyed. Like I didn't enjoy my time. I just wanted it to
I
be
got
over with.
grumpy. I got,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
and
did.
like,
We did shrooms for there was like a stint there. We did like 3 months on end, just every fucking day after work doing shrooms, staying up all night, going back to work in the morning. It was fucking wild,
mhm.
really fun
Oh,
times
dude,
until I had a bad trip, and then I was like, yeah, I think I'm done with shrooms.
you're like, yeah. Yeah, like the shrooms now, it's the microdosing's great.
I've
I'm a
heard.
big advocate for that for the mental health. If I find myself spiraling and not feeling good, literally a teeny tiny baby mushroom and go sit down and watch TV.
Yeah, I've heard. I've
I
heard
go
of
to
that.
bed, I wake up the next morning, 100% just
That's
back in
great.
business.
That's
So
great.
it's all medicinal now.
Sure.
My back's killing me, have a couple gummies, and go to
Sure.
bed. And it's medicinal now, and
It's great.
that's coincidentally it's funny because that's where my dad is now. He still spends an ungodly amount of money on weed every month, but he went from taking, I think he was on 15 medications and
Holy
being
shit.
just completely zonked out all the time to being on three that are life dependent and six different kinds of weed. And I'm like, yeah,
That sounds
that's
fantastic.
good. Hell yeah.
Um, okay, I wanted to the last topic that we discussed, and it somehow led into us talking about people who'd passed away, but was growing up with relatives in the same city, and class separation, whatever that means. I took
Hmm.
horrible notes, but I grew up with most of my family living in other states, so I didn't have cousins or grandparents in the same city, and that was fucking wild because most of my friends, either had siblings or cousins who went to their same school, and they'd, after work, I'm going to my grandma's house, and that was something that I never experienced because my closest relatives are in Penasco, which is 3 hours away. That there's no way I was going to be able to
Right,
go do
right.
that. So, but you had family in Santa Fe, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Um, the family dynamic was always a little weird and very much, I can relate to how you felt about not having family nearby. In relation to friends and classmates. So my grandma and grandpa lived in Santa Fe. Few aunts and uncles, cousins. Um, Grandma's house was nice, but you learned growing up that it was grandma was babysitting, and that was okay. My parents didn't abuse it like some people do nowadays, like we know. But that was always kind of the family time. Some days you were at grandma's house alone. Some days cousins were there. Uncle so and so might show up and take you out for a ride in his truck. Blah blah blah. But it was just, it was more of a community thing, is what I learned, and that was
Yeah,
great. Because we learned a lot. My grandmother and grandfather, they're now gone, but they taught us a lot about life. Got me into
right.
a lot of my influences. I bring up loving Carol Burnett, and people are like, you're way too young for Curly. I said, not when you're hanging out with old people. It's like
Yeah.
it's a thing.
Real quick, did you
But
know that she lived in Santa Fe?
yes, my dad knows her. My
Oh,
dad knows
that's
her.
fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I
because
used to.
he.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Good, good.
Oh, I was just gonna say real quick.
No, my dad would pay. Oh,
I
go, 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 go.
I was just gonna say real quick. When I worked for DHL and FedEx, her house was on my route, so I delivered to her a couple times in person, and she was a real sweetheart. So that was all.
Nice, nice. My dad paved all those houses. He did the driveways and everything for him when he worked construction.
Up there in the Hyde
So he knew
Park.
Carol Burnett. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he did all that construction work. He was friends with Carol Burnett. He met Gene Hackman, Arnold
Oh yeah,
Schwarzenegger.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it was
Cool.
really cool. But yeah, so that was kind of back to that community thing. My dad knows Carol Burnett. Well, big
Yeah.
deal. He got more starstruck meeting Dr. Barry Ramo than he did knowing fucking Carol Burnett. Like, what the dad? No.
You're wrong place, bro. Wrong
Dr.
place.
Ramo, I see you on TV all the time.
That's too
Like,
funny.
dad, he's working, dad. Let's go. But but yeah, so the family dynamic, I can relate to you there in that, like, it was just community. Now as an adult, I talk to two of my relatives, outside of all of that, because everybody else's family was like tight. It was this tight knit bond, and we saw it on my dad's side of the family. Like I said, my dad was excluded a lot. It trickled into his adulthood as well. We go see his side of the family, and cousin so and so and cousin. I'm like, who the fuck are these
Yeah.
people?
Never met them.
You know, I know that the two cousins that we hang out with on holidays and my great auntie, and that was it. Everybody else was just kind of there.
Yeah.
And then we go hang out with my half brother's family with his. That was a long story, but we would go hang out with that side of the family, and same thing, you know, like everybody was so tight knit, and I'm like, this is weird. Like, why are y'all being family like this? And as you moved on and met newer people and became a little more, I guess, sentient, adult oriented, you know, as a teenager, it's like, I don't have a family life. You know, you guys are talking about going on summer vacation with your cousins, and it's like, I go smoke weed with my cousin and take my grandma to the doctor. Like,
Yep.
you know, it was again community, and really the only cousin that I talk to regularly now is Adam Garcia that we went to school with. The short, dark complected kid, and we're still buddies. You know,
That's
but
cool.
he also had that like different lifestyle. He and I were always we always felt like the black sheep of the family in the kind of just different sense. And so, yeah, family dynamics was always a little bit weird, you know, and family members have passed on. And maybe this is where we segued in, you know, family members have passed and
Yeah. Tell me
it
about
didn't
it.
hurt as much as like losing friends. You know,
Right.
I've only had one uncle that has passed that really just kicked me in the fucking chest. And everybody else is like, oh, I'm sorry, but that person was in my life. Whether it's my fault, their fault, anybody else's fault, that
Right.
doesn't matter. It's just, it's weird
Well,
like that.
100% and I think that's exactly how we tie it in because I was talking about, I think this is where the class separation tied in too is that Santa Fe is not the Santa Fe we grew up in. And I've said this on many podcasts, so I won't go too deep into it,
Mhm.
but it's a different Santa Fe now. It's very gentrified. And I think that separation of class, separation of wealth made it so that drug abuse is rampant, alcohol abuse is rampant because poverty is becoming more and more prevalent in the regular city, whereas the rest of the city has moved on um, to uh, to basically cater to the wealthy and the tourism,
Mhm.
leaving the rest
Mhm.
of Santa Fe in the dust. And
Yeah.
to that note, every day I lose more and more people who I knew or grew up with in Santa Fe. And I was telling you that I made a list. I have a list of people, of everybody that
Right.
I'd known and how they died and how old they were and the crazy circumstances in every kind of way. But like it feels like a curse, like a Santa Fe curse. And there's right now, as of right now, excluding family members, there's 56 people on my list.
Holy shit,
Yeah,
dude.
dude, I'm not even 56 years old. So that's fucking crazy. Um,
Yeah, I would say my list is probably up there too,
I
close
would,
to
I
that.
100%
Yeah.
believe that. Um,
Hmm.
Real quick,
Hmm.
you said there was a long story with your brother-in-law. Give me a truncated version. Give me the Cliff Notes version,
Brother-in-law,
or your or
brother-in-law or
your,
half
your
brother?
half brother. I'm sorry.
Okay, so half brother. My dad had a son from a previous marriage.
Okay,
His mom's side of the family I've never ever interacted with. That's just bad. Nothing that I don't want to talk about. It's just never been anything good from that.
okay,
Um, he had he had a child with I guess half sister we could say. So that brought us into that side of the family, but he took his own life as a teenager, my
oh
brother did.
Jesus,
So to the trauma thing, I think that was one of the other trauma things we talked
yeah,
about. You know,
yes, I
losing
think we
your
did.
brother when you're 7 years old is,
Yeah,
not ideal. And but so that was that other side of the family. So because of his passing, because of the way everything happened, we ended up really close with them. And it was that was my sister. Those were my sisters. Those were my nieces, nephews, everybody. But same thing. It was a different dynamic, and we grew apart too. And I don't
crazy,
talk to hardly any of them anymore. It's just it's weird. No animosity or nothing. I see them like at a store. Yeah, I'm gonna stop and talk to everybody, but
crazy.
just yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, we have added a lot of time to our initial conversation. So I think we had lost 36 minutes. We're at about an hour and almost 10 minutes now. So this is
Oh
probably going to be
boy.
a really long episode, but that's okay because it's all really good conversation. So we'll cut it off there. And audience
Okay.
who's watching or listening, there's going to be an abrupt interruption, and we're going to jump back into the lost conversation where you're talking about how you have conversations in Denver, telling people that it's the people that are still alive and the people that you've lost. Like you're lucky to have experienced drug abusing friends who are still here and they're not gone. So,
Yes.
so to that note,
Yes.
here we go. Let's tie into that. And thank you, sir. I really
Thank you,
appreciate your
sir.
time, man. It's so nice of you to come
You're
back
welcome.
in.
And to avoid any other confusion to everybody watching, it's actually June. I don't change this calendar. I just noticed I'm like son of a bitch. So yes.
All right, brother. Well, thank you again, and you have a wonderful day. And to everybody out there, I'm gonna post a little bit of
Thanks, everybody.
Jose's uh singing for our guitar concert in high school and me playing at the end of this. So stick around for that.
Singing.
it,
Singing.
it was good. It was fun.
It was really good, man. It was great.
All right, brother. Well, have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Take care, my man.
You too. Bye bye.
Peace. Denver's got its rough places, but Denver's very much a much bigger city where you have actual classes and groups and everything kind of intermingles. And I talk about that sometimes about, yeah, they almost died of an overdose and they've been to jail 4 times, but they're here and they're like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
You have no fucking clue.
you're like that. They're like
Back to
that's
the
horrible. That's a shitty life. That's a shitty existence. And your point, you're just like,
No,
well,
you
it's
know
a
what's
life,
shitty? It's a life. Not you know what's shitty? The 60+ friends that I've lost over the years. That's
right?
the list that I didn't want this person on.
Right. Go talk to the people on the ground and see how much they're enjoying it.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's
Exactly.
fucking gnarly.
Yeah, and it's just funny because it's like living in this city. The 2 jobs I've had living here, like I say, everybody intermingles. There's not that. There's very little of that. Oh, I make more than these people. No, it's cool.
Right.
And but they still don't have that concept because they've had that privilege their whole life.
Right.
So you
That's
talk about
no. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. You talk about having lived a rough life, and then you're here, and you're like, well, how? It's like I'm not even going to get started with you on that. It's not that you won't understand. So we're going to be sitting here for 3 hours, and
Right.
you're going to feel completely different about everything. You're not ready for that.
I would say the simple answer to that is that we sadly used our friends and their choices as an example of what not to do and how to make it. It's
It's
it's the
it's
sad truth.
unfortunate, but yeah. And I think the majority of our friends that have passed that had traumatic or troubled deaths would probably feel the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we could talk to them for a couple minutes, I think that'd be the thing. Well, I'm glad you got out of that lifestyle, or I'm glad you stopped doing that because I'm here, but you're still going. And that is one thing about New Mexico. There's a lot of two-faced people, but there's also a lot of genuine people.
Oh,
And
for sure.
we now that we're all adults, the few friends I still have left from there, we cheer each other on
Yeah.
because we recognize it's precious, dude.
Yeah.
Life is precious.
And that's definitely not to say that everybody who passed made stupid decisions. There is a lot of accidentals, so
Yeah, yeah,
it's not. I'm not saying that everybody was a drug addict or everybody got
yeah,
murdered or whatever. Now there was a lot of that, but
yeah.
not all of them. Um,
No,
but
no.
if you read my list, or maybe when I actually get around to making it into a podcast episode, if you listen to the shit, the coincidences, the causes of death, you're just like, how is that real? This isn't fucking real, bro. What kind of sim are you living in? Your sim is fucked up. You need to reset that shit.
Dude, so much weird shit,
Yeah,
bro.
dude.
Like, oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah, the coincidentals are. Yeah.
Let's move on from the grim, because if not, I'll dwell here all day, and that's not good.
Literally,
Trying to stay
yes.
positive. um, Tell me about your transition to Denver. When did you make that decision? How'd you get up there, and what's life been like up there?
So that story has a bit of whimsy to it. We'll have a to get away from the grim. We'll kind of have a little bit of a hoser fairy tale to it.
Please, let's do it.
So Denver, I started visiting late 2000s, just coming over here to hang out because it was a big city. It was close by, and there's lots to do. That was with my ex girlfriend. We'd bring her nieces and nephews, or we'd just come out for the weekend. Like it was a fun place to come to. That relationship ended,
Oh,
and it was all right. I was kind of getting back to being single and everything, living at my parents' house for a little bit,
okay.
whatever. Well, a buddy of mine, my buddy Memo, he was telling me, he goes, "Hey, do you remember Nora?" I'm like, "Yeah, she hates my guts. This was a gal I talked to years prior." I'm like, "We had this fun." I'm like, "Yeah, she fucking hates me." And he goes, "No, she doesn't. She thought you hated her." I'm like, "Well, fuck," He goes, "Well, maybe you guys should hang out." So I was like, okay. So Mr. Matchmaker over here, we hang out, we start dating, and blah blah
Oh,
blah blah blah
shut the
blah. And
fuck up.
it was funny. It was funny the way it worked out. Here we are, 15 years later. We're still together. It's fucking awesome. Um, but so it started out like that. Dating in New Mexico is not the best, and she hadn't had the best experience with what she had going on. So I'm like, yo, let's go live life. Let's go do shit. And the Cypress Hill 420 show
Ah,
was here in Denver. They usually did it in LA, and that was the first year they did it in Denver. And I'm like, I gotta go. I've never been able to go see Cypress Hill. It's never been in the
another part
cards.
of our childhood.
Yes, a big Cypress Hill growing up in New Mexico. It was always the thing. And I said, well, fuck it. I'm buying 2 tickets. So I told Nora, I'm like, hey, when we were like seeing each other, it wasn't like full blown dating and everything. Um, well, I guess so because we were living together, but I guess it wasn't.
Ah.
That's a whole other story. We won't. We won't. I won't throw those beans out there. But
Okay.
it was still the early stages, shall we say?
Okay.
We were together. It was obviously a serious thing, but it was still early stages. So I'm like, hey, you want to go to a concert with me? And she's like, yeah, in Albuquerque. I'm like, no, we're going to Denver. She's like, what? I'm like, I'm going whether you go or not, but you should come with me. Let's go. So she takes the time off, and we come out to Denver. Now, before I talk about what made Denver magical for us, she's originally from Connecticut. So she's used to green. The East Coast is beautiful. It's gorgeous. We're
Nora
going out
from
there in
Denver?
August. Yeah.
That's wild. That does not line up.
That's the thing. So being in the desert, living in New Mexico, she had a complete total change of environment. And then we come to Denver, it's spring, it's April for 420. It's all green and lush over here. And she's like, this is beautiful. This is, oh, no, 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 no. This is like home. I'm like,
Oh, shit.
oh, okay, I guess. I
Cool.
like my dirt down south, but cool. So, long story short, even though I've been blabbing about this for 5 minutes, went to the concert, had a great time. She loved it here. We started coming more and more. Oh, we got 2 days off? Well, it takes 6 hours to drive there.
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
go with literally no plan. We go eat, we go hang out, go to the malls.
Fuck yeah.
And one day we're like, we need to move here. And it was in the cards. She was able to transfer with her job. My job let me transfer, and here we are.
What job did you work in New Mexico that was compatible with Denver?
Banking. Worst
Oh.
17 years of my life.
Oh. Oh, speak on that, player, please.
Oh boy. So back to your point, and this is perfect opportunity for her. You're saying about we want better, living in New Mexico,
Yeah.
it's hard making money and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I was working at AutoZone at the time, and one of my coworkers was a part timer at AutoZone. He worked at First National Bank,
Okay.
and he's like, "Hey, we got an opening for a courier." And I was like, "What's that?" He goes, "You drive around, and at night you help us balance the bank, and it pays pretty good." He goes, "You don't have to be over here dealing with all these customers all the time." I'm like, okay. So shout out Paul Herrera. You probably won't see this, but
Hey, hold on. Paul Herrera.
yo,
Why does that
yes,
sound
he
so
works for the
familiar?
city. He's probably in his 60s by
So it's a very familiar name, but anyway, proceed.
now. Oh, that's all good. So I went and I applied and got the job and just started working through at the bank. And then I was working in the back offices, working on processing, overdrafts, really boring shit. And opportunity came up to transfer to the IT department, doing the same shit, but more like analytical and data stuff. And I was like, sure. So that started kind of my IT journey. And I just stayed with the bank because it was comfortable. To your point, in New Mexico, fuck, dude, I had a damn good paying job. That's all that mattered. It was,
Right.
the work was whatever, but I was making money. Um, the First National Bank merged with a bank here in Denver called Mile High Bank, and we kind of took them over. So we moved our headquarters to here in Denver. There was more need for people here. And I'm like, can I go to Denver? And my CIO's like, yeah, you're going to pay for your own move. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to Denver, like whether you let me or not. And just came here and kind of stayed with that same comfort level. I was, at the end of my tenure there, I was stressed out. I was not myself. And I think that's where I kind of turned into a recluse. You know, I cut off contact
Oh,
with people because I was just locked into work. You know, I was doing literally 2, 3 different roles, not helping other departments. Like I had 3 separate job roles at the
oh
bank,
shit.
and it was just super mundane, dude. You know, so I had some good opportunities. I got to travel to set up new banks, tear down old banks as we got bought out, bought other banks. We grew. I mean, that bank now is pretty fucking big. They're a regional bank, but
Wow.
there was no value in the work. It was just that same thing about making money, and you know, it was. I learned a lot. You know, by no means do I discredit it, but it was just like, fuck, man, I could have done better a lot sooner. You know?
Yeah, fuck. I live that life, bro. Tell me about it. I worked
Yeah.
Airborne Express, I worked DHL, I worked FedEx, and then I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is
Mhm.
comfortable. This is what I know. It's familiar. It pays my
Yeah.
bills, but do I want to be doing this for the rest of my life? And then I bounced through a couple other jobs where I was like, okay, well, this is promising, but they were also, you can only go so far. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to be stuck in a job where I can only go so far, might as well be making good money being stuck in that job. So that was my final.
Yes.
Which brings me to what I'm really excited to fucking talk about is your current career. And hold on,
Yeah. Yeah.
before you talk about it,
Mhm.
am is my assumption correct that you work at the airport?
Uh, Part time in the capacity of we service the airport. So I'm not there all day, but we
Oh.
go a couple times a day, several times a week.
Oh, I was under the assumption that that was your full time. That's where you worked. So hold on.
We,
Are
yeah,
you just an airplane nerd?
that came up starting the job. That's where that
Oh.
started. It's always been there's a oh god, I wish I could remember his name. There's a comedian that speaks on that. He's autistic and he goes he and I have ADHD, so I'm on the spectrum. So this cracked me the fuck up. He goes the comparison between autistic people and cholos. He goes we all like our alternative methods of travel. Cholos have low riders. We have big stuff like trains and planes. And I was like, we do like big stuff.
That's too funny. Well, I only went to that assumption because you post pictures of airplanes and I get super excited when I see them. I my wife jokes about me being on the spectrum all the fucking time because it's really weird. I've got to tell this story that I've told 100 times on this podcast, but I've got to tell you
Let's
because
hear
you've
it,
got to hear
man.
it. So, in 2002, I believe it was, one day my mom calls me up and she says, "I got this DVD I want you to watch." I'm like, "All right, whatever." So I went up to her house. She showed me the DVD. It was for a aviation college in Oklahoma. And when the DVD was done, she's like, "So what do you think?" And I was like, "Oh, looks cool. Whatever, you know." Okay, gotta go. So
Yeah.
she calls she calls me like a week later and she's like, "Cool, I enrolled you. You start in 2 weeks." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude? I have a
What?
life. I have an apartment. I have a full-time job. What the fuck do you mean I start in 2 weeks?" And she's like, "Yeah, well, you seemed excited and I thought you wanted to go." And I'm like, "Bro, you should have communicated with me because no." But anyway, I was like, "Well, maybe this
Oh,
can be
fuck.
a good opportunity. Fuck it, let's go."
Yeah. Yeah.
I went to college in Oklahoma. I fucking hated it. Now, to be fair, I never got into the aviation side of what my degree was going to be. I was going for
Mhm.
avionic electronics and instrumentation, and I never
Okay.
made it that far. I got through the basics and I started the electronics program, which I'm super fascinated with. I was into it, but life in Tulsa was very dire. There's 5 colleges there, and there's kids from everywhere, and jobs are hard as fuck to find, really difficult.
Oh, shit.
And
Yeah.
so I was always broke. I was always hungry. I was lonely because I didn't have anybody that I knew there. I did have my college buddies, but it wasn't. It's not the same. Um,
Right.
so
Right.
I dropped out. Needless to say, I came back home. Um, that was my only dabbling in airplanes or giving a fuck about airplanes. I had barely even ever flown on airplanes. I didn't give a shit. You know, it was just another
Yeah,
day
yeah,
to day thing. They're so mundane.
yeah.
Well, in 2018, my wife and I planned out a trip and we went to Universal Studios in Florida. We
Mm.
flew Frontier for direct from Albuquerque to Orlando, and we were, you know, at the end of our trip, we are going to fly direct back on Frontier from Orlando to Albuquerque, and we had a high speed rejected takeoff. Now, I don't know if you've ever been in a
Oh,
plane on a high speed rejected takeoff, but it was
I
fucking
have not.
wild, bro. Like, I just I
No.
freaked out. Like everybody hit the seats in front of them, and I just, you know, I just pictured, oh fuck, there's gonna a plane's gonna come
Uh,
right through our plane. Like that's what I
yeah,
pictured in my head. And
yeah.
my wife jokes that my brain hit the front of my head so hard that it fucked me up because from that moment on, from the time we parked back at the gate, I had to know everything there was to know about airplanes. I was obsessed. I,
That set it
I,
off.
dude, I started watching every fucking crash video that ever happened. Like, I know all of the crashes that ever happened, what causes crashes. I like, I've made friends with shit tons of pilots and flight attendants,
Yeah,
and I am absolutely obsessed with commercial aviation now. Um,
dude, that's fucking awesome.
it's fucking insane the way life works. Cause yeah, prior to that, I couldn't give a fuck about airplanes. I did not give
Right.
a shit. But yeah, now I love taking pictures of them. I like just watching them in the sky. Like I love flying. I'm just I and prior to that, I was also a fucking insanely nervous flyer. Now,
Yeah.
bro, that's my second home. I love being up in the sky.
It's the best, dude. It's the best.
Okay, so all my long ass story aside, tell me about your new career and how that ties into the Denver airport.
So the new career started in 2023. I was still at the bank, very miserable. As I was talking about earlier. And the asset manager I had, Zach Norman, who probably will see this. Shout out Zach, thank you. He had left the bank and went to go work at Frontier as their asset manager.
Shut the fuck up.
Well, yeah,
That's
yeah.
sick.
This guy, this is going to tie into another story with Zach, and I will not let him live this down. And he knows this.
Sweet.
Um, so he was at Frontier. We stayed in touch, and everything's going great, going great. And he hits me up one day. He goes, "Hey, I have a senior desktop engineer role that we're looking to fill. I think you'd be perfect for it." And I'm like, no, dude, I wouldn't. I was feeling so bad. I was doing a lot of identity access management, so setting up new users, attributes, setting their computers up, AD accounts, like just like I said, mundane work. And I'm like,
Wow.
no, dude, I don't know enough to do that. And he's like, no, I really think you should apply. And I was like, okay. So I went ahead and applied, went through the interview. Shit went well. And that was the first lesson in I know more than I think I know. That is
Wow.
one of my biggest philosophies in life. You always know more than you think you know. You
Wow.
just need an opportunity to show yourself.
That's phenomenal.
And dude, it was mind blowing. It was eye opening. That was, I was approaching my 40s. Yeah, I was approaching my 40s, and that was the first big kind of like change and second half of your life kind of shit.
I fucking love that. That's
And
amazing.
dude, it was cool. It was really really cool. And so I started the job, and I was just excited to be out of what I was doing. It was this whole new feeling. It was great. It was really cool. But I spent the first few months just getting into the groove of the job. I wasn't really looking at where I was working. It was just being a contributing member of the team
Okay.
and learning everything. So probably the first 3 4 months was all of that. And then little by little I started making friends with people and learning about airplanes. And elementary school was all about the fighter jets.
Yes. Yes.
That was the cool part about the
Yes.
Gulf War, I'll say, is living through that was all the F-16s and blah blah
Sure.
blah. Like you didn't care about commercial jets though. You're like you
100%.
said, it's mundane.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, you're taking you somewhere. Big fucking deal.
Yes.
Well, I started learning about stuff. And Frontier, we're very we're an Airbus house. We do not do anything with Boeing.
Hold on.
My old manager Shane.
So
What?
you actually work for Frontier.
Yeah, yeah,
Another fucking
yeah.
wild coincidence. Okay, please proceed.
So My old manager before I transitioned to my role, Shane, his running joke, people, his friends would give him trouble. Were you working Frontier? You working Frontier? He goes, we fly Airbus. We're not flying Boeing, so we're gonna get you there. At least our planes are safe. And that's always,
Oh
oh, you work at
fuck.
Frontier. I'm like, my planes are in the air, fucker. My planes are gonna get you somewhere, and the door's not gonna fall off.
Oh my god. I love this conversation.
Oh, dude,
So
that is
good.
my favorite joke. Your seats are uncomfortable. Did you die? No. Well, there you go. Go fly fucking Southwest and see how it goes.
That's too funny, man.
But that being said, it was a very the bug hadn't fully bit yet. We fly A320s, A321s. The most exciting part from it as an outsider was the different engines. We started with the Neo engines to conserve fuel and be more efficient because that's the big thing about Frontier. We are the greenest airline in the country.
Shut the fuck up.
It's real. No, 100%. We are the greenest airline. That's why we're so strict with baggage policies. We're so strict with the add-ons and everything. We're a budget airline, but we're also a very environmentally conscious airline.
Fucking
So,
sold. Love it.
dude, I had this lady complain to me the other day. Well, all the other airlines do 50 pounds. I'm like, we do 40 because we're earth conscious and we want to not pollute the fucking air with jet fuel any more than we're already doing.
100%.
And I didn't say that to her, of course, but it was
real
like, no, we're
quick,
40 pounds. Sorry about that. Yeah.
real quick, like I want you to continue with your story, but I have to put this in here.
Yeah.
People who talk shit about people flying jets, with every fucking airplane that's in the air, over 200,000 flights per day, that contributes to 2% of the total global pollution. 2%. 2. That's not a lot. Fuck off. Planes are going to keep flying, and I'm going to keep supporting planes flying.
I appreciate that fact because that's going to get brought up at some point with one of these angry customers.
Yes, it's 2%.
Oh, God. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I'm sorry.
1.999 because of us.
But fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. And I'm grateful as fuck to Frontier. They will always have a fucking soft spot in my heart because that's what turned me into a nav geek, is that rejected takeoff. And when the captain got off that plane, he was kind of, people are being assholes because people are fucking entitled and they're assholes, and everybody's like, oh well,
they don't understand.
I gotta get home, blah blah blah. It was not. Thanks for. I shook his hand. I was like, thank you for fucking keeping us safe, and I kind of wanted to know what I wanted to know. I was very curious why it happened. I wanted to instantly know what happened, but all he told us was that he got a message that popped up on his display there, and he wasn't comfortable taking off with that. And I was like, cool. I mean, we're safe. We're alive. The plane didn't crash. So what's the harm? What's the downside?
Yeah, you're inconvenienced. You're not dead.
100%.
Had he ignored that and had been a lesser pilot and ignored it, you may not have been there to have been bitching at him.
100%.
Be grateful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's, people, the entitlement is real in this time of ours.
You hear so many fucking wild news stories of people acting up on airplanes, and you're like, why? Bitch, they're doing you a service. Yes, you may have paid for it, but that doesn't entitle you to be a fucking prick.
Not at all. Not at all. And we see it all the time. It's just like, then drive. 100%. Get a rental car or jump in your car and go drive. Go do it yourself.
Right.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's ridiculous.
I have, not to get off on a tangent because I want you to finish your story, but I have this nerd idea that I want to do so fucking bad, and Frontier is also the inspiration for this. I want to do trading cards. I want to do airplane trading cards that are specific to tail numbers, and Frontier would be amazing. Because
please carry on.
All of the different animals. I want to collect all of the animals. I want to have an individual card that has all the stats and the animals, the engines, the fucking flight hours, all of that shit for each fucking plane.
It's a thing.
Fuck the fuck off. How come I didn't know this?
It's a thing. Here's the older ones. Those were special edition.
I am so fucking mad.
It's got all the information about the animal on the back of the card, dude, and it's like all of our fucking animals.
What the fuck? How did I never know about this?
I'm gonna have to get you a set, and I will send them to you. They're a little hard to come by these days.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
But I love your idea because we can involve other airlines.
Yes, yes,
Because there's
yeah.
so many special liveries. So I'm not to
Well,
stomp on the idea. Please don't take it
no,
like
no,
that.
no,
It's
not
just
even the special liveries
we
though.
have a basis.
Yes, and it doesn't even have to be special liveries. Just any. I want all of them because
Yeah,
listen, when I'm at an airport, I take pictures of all the planes, like all of the
everything,
fucking planes. And
everything, dude.
I do my best. I need to get a better camera because I'm only using my phone, but I try to get the
Yeah.
tail numbers in the shot so that I can learn about that. And you're not going to believe this, but I made a fucking Excel spreadsheet that has every flight I've ever been on. It has the tail number, the plane model,
Oh my
that's the
god.
time we took off, the time we landed, all of that shit on this spreadsheet, dude.
Awesome. That
And
is
it's just because
awesome.
I'm a fucking nerd and I want to know if I've been on a plane before or if something happens
Yeah.
to one of those planes, I want to be like, oh fuck, why? Because I have that. I've been on that
You
plane.
have
Like
it recorded. Yeah.
fucking wild.
Yes. Flight Radar started offering that service. So I started
I,
doing that.
but yeah,
It's
I'm a big subscriber.
so good.
I'm a gold member. I've been,
I did the silver, but nonetheless, I am a member. Yes,
yeah, I've
absolutely.
got obsessed with Flight Radar.
Huh?
Okay, so continue your journey in with Frontier.
So was in that role I was in, and it was good, but like I said, the plane bug hadn't fully bit. There wasn't enough to trigger the hyperfixation on it, if you will.
Okay.
So just kind of carried on, and then an opportunity came up for a station support role. So it was essentially the same work I was doing, but going to the airports and flying out and everything. And my name got thrown into the hat because um, we had an incident in Seattle where the airport lost internet. It
Oh
wasn't
yes,
our
yes.
individual providers. That was 2 summers
I
ago.
remember.
Remember that one? That was huge. So it was, I mean, everything was manual procedures. So there was no one available on the team to go out because they were dealing with other emergencies or traveling already and everything. And they're like, well, Jose doesn't have any kids. Jose doesn't have, I'm like, I don't. I am available. Like, that's a plus, guys. You're not insulting me. And my boss calls me and he's like, can you go to Seattle for us to try to set up some alternative methods for, to ease up the strain on the agents? I said, yeah, when do you need me to go? He goes, your flight leaves in 4 hours. I was like,
Woo!
well, let me kiss the wife goodbye and pack my bags. Holy fucking shit. And they're like, really? Is this going to be a strain? I'm like, my wife's here to feed the cat. Like, I literally have nothing else. Let's go. So I went, took care of it. Everything worked out. And they're like, do you like doing that? I was like, yeah, dude, like, I don't care. I literally I've made my life to do whatever the fuck I want to do. I don't
Yeah.
care. The freedom part anyway. And they're like, well, we have a position opening up on the station support team, and you'll get to travel and you get to go to the airport. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. The biggest thing about that, I'm like, am I sat at a desk all day? And they're like, oh no, absolutely not. You are literally running around airports. You're running around the warehouse. You're mobile. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. Because backtracking a little bit into the bank, I always had physical labor jobs growing up, teenager, early 20s. Everything was physical labor. I
Yes,
loved
sir.
it. And then the bank job from the courier, like I said, turned into the desk job. And I spent probably 14, 15 years as a desk jockey.
Yes,
And
sir.
it drove me nuts.
Yep.
Fast forward into the role at Frontier. Well, I had 5 floors to take care of from, because we were basically office, first contact for office support. So I was getting around, but it was still that you got to be at your desk. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is good. I have
Yes.
spent almost 20 fucking years locked behind a desk. And I said, sure, let's do it. So took the role on. And as the role's coming on, it's kind of back and forth work. That was the first time the A380 came to Denver. And I know you're very
Lufthansa.
familiar with that plane. Yes, the Lufthansa 380 was the first time it came because off peak season, they fly an A350 here. Beautiful plane, really cool to see,
Oh
but it's
yeah,
no big deal.
absolutely.
So everybody's going bonkers over the A380 coming in, and it came in on the 16R34L runway.
Yeah.
That's the biggest runway in the state. It's 16,000 feet long, and it can handle the super heavies. So it flew right by the window of my office,
Oh.
and I'm taking pictures of it, and then I looked at it, and the sheer magnitude of that fucking plane. I'm just like, it's not moving
Yeah.
because it's so goddamn fucking big.
Yes.
Your brain cannot process that this thing is in fact going 250 miles an hour coming into the landing.
It doesn't look like it's
And
moving. It fucking
it
floats.
doesn't, dude. It flew over my building, my new building. It flew over all the time. You still get excited and run out and look at it, but it's just like it's just hanging in the sky. So I had a good minute to look at it. I'm like, that's the coolest fucking thing I have ever seen in my
Yes.
life. I
Yes.
love this. And it bit. And it was the 380, the 787, the fucking 757 800, the cigar tube. And I was like, these things are so big. They're so. How is this in the air?
Yes. That's
How is this hundreds of thousands of tons? And this bitch is going 600 miles an hour through the sky. I need to learn about these things.
for
And
15
that was it.
hours. 15 fucking hours.
Did you read about the new 350 or no, the new 777 being produced? Boeing is producing a trip. Is it?
The
No, it's the 350.
777X.
Sorry, the 777X. Airbus replied with the 350-900. It's going to be able to fly 23 hours straight with 200 fucking people on the plane.
Oh, what the fuck, dude? Okay, so real quick, let me interrupt you.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man.
I flew the 380 out of Denver. I flew
Yes,
to Munich, and it was fucking amazing.
lucky.
We flew on the upper deck. We our our stance on travel is yes, it's ridiculously expensive, but we always save up. We start saving a year in advance to make sure that we can buy business class tickets for any international flight, because if it's over 8 hours, it makes it a huge worthwhile. Yes, like again, it's an outrageous, highly difficult to justify expense, but
Mm-hmm.
what you gain on those international trips is a lot less jet lag. So you arrive at your destination a
Yeah,
lot more rested because of the full lie flat seats. Um, so you get
right.
there and you're not like, fuck, I'm so exhausted. Let's go to the hotel and sleep for a while. You're like, cool, that was an amazing flight. Let's go fucking do something.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we did fly the A380 and it was tail number DAIMC. So
Very nice.
very cool
Very
plane.
nice.
Um,
Yes,
we
that's the one with the
flew.
black tail, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
we flew.
Yes.
Have you
Sorry,
seen their
sorry.
100 year livery,
The fucking
bro?
350 was here. The 350 was
Shut
here
up.
on Saturday. I don't work Saturdays
A
anymore.
special livery was there.
Yeah,
Oh,
it came
dude.
twice, and it came on weekends. I'm never fucking there, and I didn't know till it was already here, so I couldn't get to the airport on time to go see it.
Have you seen this the 747 with the livery?
Not in person,
No, no,
but
no.
god
But
damn,
that is
that's a lot
that's
of
my
paint.
favorite. That is the most beautiful fucking. It fits so good on that. Like I like it on the
Like
A380
the
also.
dome.
Yeah, but it fits like it looks like a fucking bird. I love it. It's so that's my favorite livery I think of any airplane
That that is as good of a utilization of the body lines on a plane
for
as
sure.
Airbus did with the Beluga.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the
yeah,
best one
yeah.
for them
Absolutely.
because the Beluga looks like the fucking whale. It's
Right.
great.
Absolutely. And by the way, I flew the 747 from Frankfurt back to Houston at the end of that
Oh, you
trip
fucker!
on the upper deck.
Oh,
Uh,
dude,
I'll share some pictures with you later. Amazing, dude.
bucket
Fucking
list shit
amazing.
right there, dude.
And real quick, I never said it, but I absolutely am obsessed with your playing cards, and I would fucking die if you sent me a set, dude.
I am going to get you a set, man. They float around the offices every so often, and I'll grab you as many as I can,
Please,
dude. They're
please.
yes,
And if you
absolutely.
ever have a job opening, you let me know because I don't know, bro. I might sacrifice a huge financial stability to go work around airplanes all day. That
Dude,
sounds like a dream to me.
it I didn't know it was my dream, and it turned out that's what happened. You know, if you subscribe to the everything happens for a reason
Yeah, oh, 100%.
mentality,
I'm not
yeah,
religious
dude,
at
it's
all. I'm
weird.
very we're 100% atheist, but I strongly believe in
Yeah,
karma and that things happening for a reason, and that that
yes,
shit proves it right there to me.
yes.
Um, so now you're flying around for Frontier, going to different airports and spending your time doing what?
So we are still it's still very much an IT job.
Okay, okay,
The cool part is we do have some involvement. We have to learn ramp safety
awesome.
because we have to load up planes sometimes. um, we had a very early shipment to send out. So we do what's called comatting, company materials.
Okay.
We are allowed to put certain items on a plane essentially for free. It goes in the cargo hall, it goes to the next location, and we have somebody receive it there. So,
Sure.
you're in Chicago and you say, "Hey, I got a monitor that I gave out. Can you send me a monitor?" Sure. I go look up the next flight, drive to the airport, put it on a plane, and you go get it from the ramp agent.
That's so sick.
It's really dope. But we have cards, like the luggage card. So if I'm sending you like 3 monitors, no big deal. Go throw it on the card. If we're sending 20 fucking boxes of shit, we go help the ramp agents out. So that's
Oh, of
part of it. We
course.
get to be under the plane, loading them up and
So
stuff.
sick.
It's really cool. But overall, it's still IT work. We
Okay.
set up new stations, switches. We're going through a big network change right now. So that's a lot of travel.
That's
The
amazing.
cool part is we're learning all those technologies and we get to dabble in the other departments. We are one of the few departments that we have the interest. I won't say our hand in it, but we have the interest of every other department in the greater IT kind of ceiling. We do everything. I heard a saying once, and I love this saying: we are the blue collar workers of the white collar world.
Cool.
um, IT gets dirty. You got your programmers, you got your cybersecurity people, all that, and that's it. We're all very important.
Oh,
I love what
absolutely.
they do. I love learning what they do. But then you got us. You got the engineers. The desktop people, the support people. We do all the wild and crazy stuff, and we have to be in the middle of all of it because, um, case in point, I'm going to be in El Paso next week by myself. You gotta know everything because you don't have anybody to ask locally.
Okay.
And that's kind of the exciting part of it. Like I'm going to go move a radio tower next week because
Sick.
we're not getting good signal for our pilots. The air to ground's not working the way it should be. So it's really cool in that we're still doing a lot of IT stuff, but we bend the fuck out of the rules. Like we don't get formal emails. We get pinged on Teams. Why the fuck are you using this program? It's like, well, because an airport's down and we're losing $1 million every so often here. So you want to just look the other way for a few minutes? I'll delete the program when I'm done. Thanks. Oh, have your boss call my boss. I don't care. I have an airport I need to get back up and running, for whatever. Like, there's a tunneling program, for example, they don't like. And it's like, I need to fix this airport. Thank
Sure.
you.
Dude, that is fucking
So,
wild.
it's no disrespect to them. It's just, we are caught in the middle of of helping the people who do the physical operation things and having to adhere to all the technical stuff. So we do a lot, man. It's exciting, and I hate to be so vague with it, but it's a whole lot,
I get
But
it.
as far as
I get
like
it.
dated, yeah, it's crazy. It's a lot. I've learned a lot. It's coming up on a year that I've been in this role, and
Awesome.
bro, holy shit. But day-to-day stuff, it's pretty simple. Computers go down. We're imaging computers, doing network stuff. Bagging stuff as basic as password resets.
Yeah.
Ticketing agents got a line of people that they gotta process their bags and stuff. They don't got time to be on hold with the help desk for 15 minutes. They call us. And it's the most chaotic environment I've ever worked on, but it's
Yeah,
organized chaos.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
wrong with organized chaos, bro? Like everybody's like, it's very high strung. I'm like,
It's cool.
okay,
It's
dude,
exciting.
I've been burnt out for the last 10 years, bro. Like you can't
Yeah,
burn
yeah.
the burnout. You know,
That's too funny.
it's crazy,
I could
man.
talk about fucking airplanes and airlines all fucking day, but I do want to just touch on one last thing. There
Of
was
course.
there was a lot of talk of mergers with Frontier involvement lately. Um,
Hmm.
is that dead in the water? Is there still talks going on? What's where's that at?
The only big one that we had recently, that kind of became public to speak on was we were trying to acquire Spirit, and that was probably about 3-4 months ago.
And then JetBlue got involved, right, and was like, "Hey, we want it."
That was boo on Spirit's executives because they didn't like. How can I put it? Spirit kind of wants to be the fancy ultra low cost carrier. That's the tier that we're in. We're ultra low cost carrier. Fun fact about Frontier, we're so fucking ultra low cost, it's our stock ticker.
Okay.
If you go look at the stock market, look up ULCC, it's Frontier.
Yeah.
Because we strive for that shit. That's a whole other story we'll get into in a bit. But yeah, it was they didn't want to play by our rules, and we're like, our executives are like, well, we've had a rough couple of quarters, but our business model works, and they're like, no, 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 no. And so the deal fell apart. And then because JetBlue wanted in, they're like, well, JetBlue's a little fancier, and JetBlue's kind of mid tier as far as value, and they could fall apart any minute right now because of the fuel crisis.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
And
Oh god. Don't get me
mhm.
started. God damn it. I hate Donald Trump with a fucking passion. I already hated him
Dude,
enough since his first term.
right,
I will say.
right.
And I don't give a fuck who likes this. Stop watching my podcast if you don't like it. I never voted for that
Don't
motherfucker
fucking
and I
care.
hate him.
Fuck Trump. Fuck ICE. I don't fucking
Fuck
care.
all of them and everything surrounding their whole fucking maggot universe. I fucking hate them all. And my passionate hate was enraged when it started affecting the airline industry. Like, listen,
It's
as if it wasn't bad enough that he's a goddamn pedo and a fucking rapist and a felon and a fucking thief and a fucking pathological liar and an extreme racist. Yeah, as if that wasn't all enough. Now you got to go start fucking with my airplanes, you fucking dickhead. Like, Lufthansa is grounding an entire subsidiary of their planes because the fuel crisis. And
it's just
Qatar is taking the opportunity to do some smart shit, and they're relocating their planes to major maintenance bases so that they can at least get maintenance while they're grounded. But they're grounding more than half their
yeah,
fleet. Hey, real quick question: How
yeah.
how many planes in the Frontier fleet?
Oh God, that's a good question. We are in the low hundreds. I couldn't tell you the number
Sweet.
exactly because we're trying to phase out the older A320s.
Oh, okay.
So the actual number has been up and down a lot, but I think we're like, I want to say close to like 200. I want to say
Woo, love it. That's a lot of
we got
animals.
quite a bit. There's a lot. I may be going a little high there. I'm probably going a little high. But we got a decent fleet. That's not to say that we got like 5 planes. We got a pretty decent fleet.
I do want to ask you. You said something earlier that suits my lifestyle 100%. We don't have kids, and we don't have kids by choice. Is that
Yes,
something that you also live with? Did you choose not to have children, or it just never happened?
100% chose it.
Love it.
Now didn't happen. We'll just say there was a couple instances in my 20s where it was luck,
Yes, same,
a couple scares, and
same.
hey, we were young and dumb. But no, this was a conscious choice. Even as a kid, it crossed my mind. But I always had this being an adult, being free.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
it's no knock on any of my friends. I mean, my
100%.
fiance, she has 2 kids. They're adults now, whole thing.
Sure.
But it's never bothered her because now what benefits this? I'm going to move forward to move back. She's 10 years older than me,
Oh
and the people she
shit!
was dating, yeah, it's crazy, dude. Like we get along so well. So go figure. It's all
You
good.
fucking stud.
um, but the people she was seeing prior to me and her getting together, they were talking about kids, and she's like, that shit. I'm done. I'm done with that.
Sure.
She didn't want that, and so that worked out for us. But going back to me, I'm selfish with my time to a fault. There are times where like I put off projects because I just want to sit by myself, whatever I'm doing. I just want to be alone.
Okay.
And I don't think as I got older, I realized that wouldn't have been the best way to treat children.
100%.
Um, my parents were very busy people. We didn't get a lot of time. And back to how we said, it's no knock on them. They raised us with the best that they had,
Of
and
course.
I didn't want to do that to somebody else. Again, it's nothing bad towards my parents, but I didn't want to traumatize somebody else. I learned getting older, I have a lot of mental issues. I didn't want to pass that down. I have physical issues.
Interesting.
I didn't want to pass that down.
Interesting.
And just as I got older and became more of a adult in the autonomy that comes with adulthood, I realized that it was the right choice. And I get a lot of people telling me, "Well, you never had the experience." I said, "The fuck, I didn't." My ex girlfriend, I raised 3 nieces and a nephew that I helped raise, and or 2 nieces and a nephew, and I'm talking like daily involvement with these kids.
Sure.
I was changing diapers. I was
Sure.
taking them to school. I was a parent because they didn't have the best people in their lives and rough. I'm not saying it was bad, but they didn't have the support they needed. And I'm like, well, I'm going to give them that support.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I had my time raising kids, and I
Well,
it was cool, but I didn't care for it.
you know, I understand you're again preaching to the choir. Now,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will say that I am not the smartest tool in the shed, so to speak. No, I know I said that wrong, and I did that on purpose for any of you out there judging me. Um, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. Yes, I know the saying. It's that I'm making a point of how fucking dumb I am, and that is because I never knew that I didn't want children when I was coming up. I always thought that yes,
Okay.
I want kids. You know, I want somebody to carry on my name. I want that whole experience. And I dated a girl who had a kid, and I was with her for 8 years from the time this kid was a baby till this kid was 8 years old, obviously. And
Mhm.
so I had that whole experience. And through
Yeah.
that experience, you know, even afterwards, I was still like, yeah, I want kids. Like, I need kids of my own. That was the thing. My
Hmm. Hmm.
wife knew from a young age that she didn't want kids. She was well aware and conscious that that was something that she had no interest in. And, you know, through conversations of us getting to know each other when we first met, I was like, holy shit, like, this all makes a lot of sense. And what the fuck was I thinking? Well, it turns out I was thinking that I wanted kids because all my friends had kids. Like I was thinking along the lines of societal norms. I was like,
Right.
this is what you do. You grow up and you have kids. And then
Yeah.
I started thinking about, you know, when she was talking to me about her reasons for not wanting to have kids, I'm like, oh my God, you know, it would be kind of selfish to actually have kids in this society where there's so much hate. There's so much.
Yes.
Listen, and this, we've been together fucking 18 years now. So this is a
Yeah.
long time ago that I'm having these thoughts. I'm like, shit, dude, the world
Right.
is already a scary fucking place. You know, between climate
Yeah.
change, between political climates, between fucking war and you know, trying to have jobs and mental health and physical health. Like there's a lot of scary shit in this world. It's kind of selfish to bring somebody into this world and have them live a life that they have to deal with all this shit. Now active
Yeah.
shooters in schools and like there is
Right.
so much that goes on in life that's fucking scary. And
It is.
more power to anybody who's having kids. I feel like that's important for society. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a
Yes.
society.
Yes.
But I
Yes.
don't.
It's no knock.
I strongly believe that not everybody has to have kids, and
No.
even not even half the people have to have kids. And it's become so normalized nowadays. Um, you know, you see it, it's very, very prevalent nowadays, but I feel like it's very well balanced nowadays. And I feel like that's more important to our society than everybody doing the same thing because forcing people to have kids when they don't want kids is how homelessness happens, how, you know, kids get killed,
Yeah.
kids get abused,
Yeah.
kids get neglected. And, you know, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, yeah, I'm fucking selfish. I like my toys. I like my freedom. I like my money.
Hmm.
How good of a fucking parent would I be if I was always like, go away, I got shit to do. You know, I'm busy.
Yes. Yes.
That's not what you do to a kid.
That's not right.
I would not be a good
No.
I would not be a good parent. As many people want to argue that as they they can argue it all day, but I know the truth. I know what's in my
My
heart.
argument. My argument back. I'm a good uncle.
Yeah,
I'm an
absolutely.
excellent uncle. I
Absolutely.
have adopted nieces and nephews from so many circles. Back to the kids I helped raise, I'm still Uncle Hoser to them.
Sure.
My nephew Georgie, his half sister, his younger sister Layla, she's never met me a day in her life. I get called Uncle Hoser.
That's awesome.
Like because Big Brother does it, and they started doing it when they were little kids. They're teenagers now, and I'm still Uncle Hoser to them. It's like I am an excellent uncle. But
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, take your child back, please. I gotta go
I got shit
do
to
adult
do.
stuff. I got a race car to build and beer to drink, dude.
Another topic that we could go all day about. Um,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's wild how society is so judgmental about kids. Though, we for years we had, you know, both sides of our families telling us, "Oh, you need to have kids, and when are we gonna get
I know.
kids, and
Where's
when are we
my
gonna get
grandbaby? Where's
grandkids?"
my
Yeah,
grandbaby?
Turns out we were not capable, either one of us really. So it worked out for us for the best. But it finally took us telling, for the first couple of years of them saying shit like that, we were trying to be kind and be like, it's
Yes.
we'll see. We're not really looking forward to that. I don't know if it happens. That kind of shit. And it
Yeah.
came to the point where we finally have to be like, look, motherfucker, we can't do it. And every time you talk about it, it's fucking hurtful. So can you stop? And then they're like,
This is this is what I gave my parents.
fuck yeah.
Right there. Right there. That's what they get.
Again, we have 6 dogs, and that's what they get. We will continue to rescue dogs, and that's what they get. but
That's it. That's it.
that's also become a very accepted part of society, which makes me really happy. And our families are very accepting of it as well because they have grandkids
Yes.
from other siblings, so that's fine. We don't need to do that.
And that's one thing I was grateful of. My parents, as any parent, as you said, children continue on, blah, blah, blah. I told them my real reasons, like I just told you, and they had their kind of realization of, oh, well, that's not such a bad reason. I said, no, it's not.
100%.
It's
That's
society.
very.
Again, shout out.
I will have to
You
say
guys.
that that's responsible, as a matter of fact.
Mhm. I think so. I cannot take care of another life outside of this fluff ball here. I cannot do it. I can barely take care of myself, let alone
Facts.
another human being who is
Facts.
fully dependent on me.
Listen, I depend on my wife, like who the fuck's gonna take care of her? It's not fair.
It ties back to my all-time favorite Family Guy quote. I need an adult. I need an adult. But Peter, you are an adult. No, but I need a better adult. An adult, you're an adult. I am that Peter Griffin all the time.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Again, I've taken so much of your time, and I'm very grateful for
No
it.
worries,
But
man. I'm having a blast,
before
dude.
we get out of here, and
Hmm?
listen, I've said this 100 times. We're probably gonna have to do this again. It's round 2 of this. I've
Absolutely.
said this to everybody, but with you, like, there's a lot of untouched topics still. There's a lot of stuff that we haven't spoken about. So I genuinely think whether I can recover this episode or not, we're gonna have to do 2 episodes. So,
Dude, I'm up for it. This is you're bringing up memories and thoughts and
same,
stuff
dude.
that
Fucking love it.
years, dude.
It's nice to vent and get shit off your chest. Meanwhile, catching up and just chatting with an old
Yes,
friend, and I love it. But before we get out of here, do me a couple favors. First,
absolutely.
plug anywhere that you want people to follow you or where they can see the interesting shit that you post, all that kind of stuff. Give them all the socials.
Probably the best social right now would be Instagram. I'm Hoser505, no underscores, no nothing. Hoser505. It doesn't matter where I live.
That's a
505 forever.
hoser with a J.
Hozer.
Oh, it's
Sorry, I
with an
forget.
H.
See, you're part of the old Hoser friends.
Okay.
I have a lot of friends that still spell it Joser.
Yeah.
That's even further back. So yeah, so no, the
So you're
newer one,
HOZER.
yes, Hozer 505. A lot of my shenanigans are in the stories. If you want to see, if you're an old friend and you want to see who I am now, just watch my stories. The
Sure.
fucked up crap of how my brain works is out there. As you've seen, we go from planes to fucking VTubers to cats.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I do now. That's what I do, and race cars. But
I
um,
if you've got some time to kill, I strongly recommend you check out Threads because I found a lot of
oh god,
incredible people there, and it's significantly better than Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. It's way
Threads
better than it ever
is
was
excellent.
because
Yes, if you're on Threads,
you can control your algorithm in Threads, and I
mhm,
love that. So
yeah, Threads is so super dynamic. I think I'm also Hoser505 on there, but find me
okay,
on
cool.
Instagram. That's the one I'm most active of
Okay,
on
cool.
Hoser505. The other thing I'd like to plug is my fiance's business.
Please,
Again, her name's Nora. She creates sun catchers, resin bowls, keychains. I can move the camera in a second. Let me see. She's
please.
getting ready for the season. So her business is called Window Trinkets, windowtrinkets.com.
Okay,
Website's under a revamp. We're getting all our stock ready for the festival season.
sick.
If you're in Denver on a weekend during this late spring, summer, early fall, drop me a line. We're more than likely at Union Station selling stuff.
Cool.
So again, the website's being redesigned. All her socials are plugged there. You can see all the cool stuff she makes.
Show
We're
me
gonna walk
something.
through the house real quick.
Yeah,
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 let's
please.
walk through real quick.
And by the way,
Let's
we're
see.
going to Italy in August, flying United
Oh,
through Denver. So
dude,
on the Dreamliner.
let's talk closer to that. I will do my best to, because I got full in and out privileges. I can go in the concourse and we can go hang out
Sick. Yes.
and see. Yeah, dude.
I would love to see you in person.
So, oh, dude, it's been years. We need to. We
Yeah.
need to, man. So the lightings. Oh, let me go turn on another light. Hold on. I didn't open the blinds this morning, and it's super dark in here without light. Okay, so this is what she makes. These are her sun catchers,
Nice.
and everything's made out of glass. There's rarely plastic or acrylic on these.
Shut
It's
the
all
fuck up.
glass, crystal, and metaphysical crystals. So you
Oh,
got like,
so you guys are environmentally friendly as well.
oh, dude, we are. We're all on it, dude. We're very spiritual people, very environmentally friendly. We get
Fucking love
ethical
it.
sourced. We go to conventions and stuff to pick things up. Like all this glass here, dude. Like we
Yes.
just make sure we can get the best thing that we can get.
I love it.
And that's, I mean, our whole thing on that, we both were raised, back to the poor thing real quick. We were both raised to be frugal, and so that turned into being hippies in this day and age, but we just say it's an offset for all the fuel we burn in our fast cars. So
Sure, and to let me comment on that, I was raised poor as fuck, and so when I grew up and started getting money, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy everything." And now I've got to say that I have this mass collection of bullshit that I don't fucking use. So now
yes,
I'm actively
dude.
through conversations with my wife and her encouragement, and her fucking wisdom. She's dude, she's 8 and 9, depending on the time of year, but years younger than me, and she's
Uh-huh.
infinitely more intelligent than me, like more logical, and I'd be lost without her. But through our
Awesome, dude.
conversations, she's convinced me to fucking think about shit in a different light, from a different angle, and so I'm actively downsizing. I'm trying to simplify and get rid of like 90% of the shit that I have that I don't fucking use. So
Yes, yes. That's a hard lesson to learn with adult money, dude. Holy fuck.
oh, you should see my car audio collection these days, bro. Oh my god, and that's what I'm having the hardest time letting go of. But I have to. I'm never gonna use it. Like,
Yeah,
bro, I probably have 40 subwoofers, like crazy shit. I have amps that you can't buy
dude.
anymore. I have all kinds of just out there shit, dude.
Let me know, dude, because I got some stuff that I want to kind of catch up on. I got a couple 15s we're going to put in our project car, but like outside of that, I have nothing. I have to sell a lot of my stuff. So,
Bro, I am selling 415s right now. Resilient Sounds 15 golds. They're 1,000 watt RMS, um, dual two ohm voice coils, and two Timpano 8,000 watt amps. Brand new. All of it's brand new. Never even been. It's been hooked up, but it's never been turned on.
right, right. Holy shit, dude.
Just
You got
because
the
I
good stuff.
collected it.
It's just, yeah, for the fuck up. That's how I am with Hot Wheels, dude. I was buying stuff just because it was there.
I sold probably 4,000 Hot Wheels.
I have probably 1,000 that I'm going to get rid of. I'm keeping a whole bunch because I got some really cool shit.
I have about
But
20 that I've kept, but and I might even get
yeah.
rid of those too. There's so much shit, dude.
It's just, I've always liked them, so I said I'll keep some, but I can't let the number go past like a couple hundred again.
I
It's
know.
just,
I have
and
pictures from
that's
my old
collector.
I have pictures from my old house where the walls are coated in Hot Wheels from like top to the middle, halfway down, and all the
Yeah,
walls in a room. It's just
dude.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And you go to another room and there's another couple hundred. It's just too much.
It's yeah. I feel that about cutting down, dude. The money's got to go into the real car now.
Yes. So what is your
Yeah.
real car now?
So we're kind of bad about buying vehicles. We've been in and out of a lot, but the big focus is actually my fiance's purchase. We know it's our vehicle, but she's the one that signed for it and
Fuck yeah.
started the problem. 2008 Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT 8.
Oh,
It is
Jesus
an
Christ.
all-wheel drive, 6.1 liter, 430 horsepower menace,
Yeah.
dude. Just
Yeah, yeah.
and this has been dually fun because the previous owners didn't take very good care of it, so it's been
Oh.
a lot of maintenance.
Oh.
But also, it's the first edition; it's the first one, so the parts are hard to find.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to talk about the amount of money that's gone into it, but it's been worth every penny.
Jesus Christ, dude. When we get off of this, I'll go show you my project in the
Yeah,
garage.
I'll send
But
you. I'll send you a couple pictures of this one too.
Um, yeah, fuck, dude. Cars a whole nother problem. That's
Dude, we're gonna have two more episodes out of this,
yeah,
man.
dude. Bro. I have been buying and selling cars for a couple years now, not on purpose. If I had my way, if my wife would let me, I'd just keep them all. I buy so
Mhm.
many
Oh
fucking
yeah,
cars, dude.
oh yeah. I just let go of a Toyota Celica that it needed to be torn apart. We're living apartment living for the moment. We only
Oh,
have a
okay.
single car garage. I had to let it go. It
Yeah,
needed to be in a garage completely torn apart, and that killed me. So
I hear
that's
you.
the point. If I had the space, bro, I'd have a problem. I would
I
have a problem.
I'd have a junkyard right now. Well, to be fair, every car that I buy or sell runs and works perfectly. I don't have any broken down vehicles, and I refuse to let that be a part of who I become because we live in New Mexico. We live it, you drive through northern New Mexico and you see people's yards littered with cars that haven't worked in fucking years and never will again. And I don't ever
And
want to be
that,
that. So I,
yeah, that's what that Celica turned into. And I'm like, no, we need
yeah,
at least the Jeep starts and drives. Should we be driving
100%.
it? But I can if I have to.
100%. I hear you, brother. Okay, last thing before we get out of here,
Yeah.
do me a favor and tell. Oh, hold on. I'm going to start doing
Yes.
this. Red or green?
Okay. Christmas, bro. What do you mean?
And do you prefer chopped or sauce for the green?
I like. It depends on the dish. That's one that's
Okay,
very much.
that's
It
fair.
depends on the dish.
That's fair.
If you're going for more of a smother, or you got it's like an offset.
Hmm.
You gotta offset everything else.
I'm
It depends on the dish.
I'm bizarre in the way that I would take chop over sauce any day.
I like to chop a lot more. Sauce is like you're having a burrito or you're having
Yeah.
enchiladas. You're gonna have that.
Well, but
But
even
red is still my favorite.
okay. So yeah,
Yeah, I like both.
you are red. You're not a Christmas. You're a red preference.
It's I guess living in Denver, you ask for Christmas and they look at you like you grew an extra head, so
No
it's
shit.
become more of a regular favorite, but it's a little more team red. Yeah, so I kind of
Interesting.
dabble both sides. Yeah,
And how is the red up there compared?
I have to. It comes from oh god, when am I blank? Alamosa.
Oh, okay.
Alamosa is like now we all know Colorado chili can never touch New Mexico chili. I don't care who that pisses off. New Mexico's
Facts.
elite. Alamosa is the chimayo of Colorado.
Okay, fair enough.
That is the best red chile I've had since I've left New Mexico. I had
Okay.
a coworker who worked remotely in New Mexico. She came to visit, brought me a bag. She said I bought this out of some Vato's trunk. He was driving a lowrider. I believed it.
Sold.
Flavor was spot
Sold.
on. And then I found this company. I'm like, okay, I don't have to import this shit anymore, dude. We're good.
My brother lives in Fort Collins now. He lived in Loveland for a
Uh-huh.
long time, so we,
Oh,
we've
okay, okay.
we've been to Colorado a few times. But generally the last couple of years we've only been there to travel through the airport.
Mm,
So, but yeah, I will be in
yeah.
touch. I do want to see you at the airport between flights. I think we have an hour layover there, 2 hour layover, something like that. So,
Oh, yeah, man. I can always go meet you, dude. Hell yeah.
um, now the last thing I want to do is hear your 5 year plan, your 5 to 10 year plan. What's your goals,
Oh,
ambitions,
boy.
or what do you hope to accomplish in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
In the next 5 to 10, really our biggest goal is to move to Vegas. It may work
Whoa,
out through yes,
Nevada.
yes, Nevada,
Why?
fucking a. Um, now, now back to the whole how I said
Sorry,
about traveling to Denver.
I
No, no,
I
no, you're
didn't mean
fine. I
that
get that
in a
question.
negative context. That's just why. Like, well, that's a
No, no,
that's
I get that
interesting.
all the time. I get that question all the time. Why do you want to move to the desert? I love the desert. That's
Oh
the
no, no,
one
I'm
thing
not
about being
questioning the
here.
desert. No, no, no. I
Yeah.
love the desert too. It's that desert in particular, but more so because of the wild tourism there. Why would that be a place that you'd want to go?
It feels like the tourism part we've always lived in it. That has never really
Okay,
bothered me too much. Now we go there all the time. We
oh, okay,
rarely travel anywhere else for a trip. In fact, I mentioned we're going to Connecticut in August to go visit some of my fiance's family and
okay.
stuff. That's the first trip non-Vegas that we've taken in a few years now.
Holy shit!
It's just our place. We like the that it's an adult playground. Like you can go there, you can work, you can be a functional person, but there's a casino on every corner.
Right.
It's just, and that's what we enjoy. It's not the strip that we like. We go to the strip, everybody. That's the thing. Everybody like, oh, the strip, the strip. Fuck the strip, dude. The strip is overrated.
I agree.
We like going downtown. We go to little
Yeah.
off-site casinos.
Yeah.
It's all the time for us. We're very much night owls.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
Sleep has always been weird for my fiance and I, so
Interesting.
we like that 24/7 aspect.
Yeah, I can see
To
that.
your point about that desert, aside from the tourism, the insane heat, her being from the East Coast, from Northeast Coast, us being in Santa Fe all our lives, all that time, we're sick of the snow. We came here, it's more snow. We have a little more four season here. It's a little more enjoyable, and there's enough snow that's like, oh, it's pretty. It doesn't melt in 2 hours like it does in New Mexico, but we're sick of it.
I'm sick of the
And
snow here, so I hear you.
I'm so done with it. So it's kind of turned into this thing where it's like that's not going to be our permanent home, but we want at least 5 years of, oh, it's winter, put on a hoodie, and that's the end of the story. We just
I
carry on with
don't
our
know that.
lives.
I don't even know that that's a thing there. You're like, oh,
It
it's
gets
winter.
it
I
gets
can.
like that.
It's winter. I can actually put on a shirt.
We went in February once for Valentine's Day, and something told us to take our winter coats, and we're glad we did because it was doing like really cold rain. Like we were up on like
Oh.
the 22nd floor, and it was snowing up
Oh.
there, but
Shit.
raining on the ground. So we took some
Wow.
winter coats, and we're like, oh, did we overdress? No, there were people there in shorts and in tank tops.
I believe it.
I'm like, it's February, you fucking idiot! It still gets cold. Like,
That's really interesting, dude. We used to love Vegas, and we've been several times. But this last time we went was for our anniversary a couple of years ago, and
yeah,
I don't know. I don't like how Vegas has changed. It doesn't. Well, and maybe it's us. We've changed. We're
yeah,
vegetarian now, and we're not as big on the party scene. So Vegas is a little different. Now we found a lot of really cool vegan restaurants that was fucking awesome. Like
yes, yeah.
really
The
cool
culinary
shit.
scene out there is ridiculous. Yeah,
And being friendly, we tried to walk most places and take city transportation and stuff. And it's cool, but it's gotten a lot more dirty. It's a lot more crowded. It's not as pleasant as it used to be. Um, but
yeah.
to
That's
each
why
their
we.
own. I'm with you on the desert thing,
Yeah.
bro. I'll fuck with the desert. I love that shit.
Yeah, for us, it's very, the strip has nothing to do with it, and I think that whole almost stigma that it's created is, it weighs a lot. And I bring up downtown. Downtown's still a party, but I joke that it's for millennials and Gen X because
Sure.
it's a party, but it's a little more relaxed.
When we
Like
went
they
for
got live bands and
Yes, when
you
we went for
know,
our
yeah,
anniversary, we stayed in downtown.
yeah, and it's a little more laid back. So when we do want to have that party, we go downtown. We just take a trip to Vegas. We go for a couple days, and at that point, we're done with it.
Sure.
And we've made friends with a few locals. They say the same things. They're like, we don't even go downtown. We go to all the
Yeah, all the
off
offshoots.
off thrift properties, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
We
so
we actually found a taqueria down there near downtown that's vegan, and they sell street tacos, and they
oh
have all of the imitations. They have barbacoa. They have like all of the knockoffs. But dude, they were fucking. It was
yes,
phenomenal, and I'm gonna send you the link because if you're there, you should try it. Even if you're not vegan,
okay,
it's
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
good. It's impressive.
Oh, dude, good vegan food. I don't turn that down, dude.
I love that.
Vegan food blows my fuck. I had barbecue barbecue chicken mac and cheese that was vegan, and that's the one that changed my mind. Because I
No
was like, okay,
shit.
we need good vegan food.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
City here in Denver. If you
Huh.
guys are ever staying, phenomenal, but it's a 3 hour wait. So,
Oh shit. Most of the
oh,
vegan food is. We went to Japan in November, and we went to
uh,
God, I can never remember how to say it. Okin, I don't know. It was in Osaka. There's this restaurant. Um I can't remember how to say the name, but it means like everything. And it starts with like
omakase,
I'm sorry. What did you say?
omakase.
No.
No,
Okinamasi. Fuck, I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. But anyway, it
yeah.
starts with a bed of cabbage, and then you just put whatever the fuck you want on top of it. Well, we went to one that it's not all vegan. They do have meat there, but for the most part, they have a really huge portion of their menu that was vegan. So we went there, and yeah, it was like an hour and a half that we waited in line in this tiny little hole in the wall, and holy fuck, it was worth the
Yeah.
wait, bro. It was
Oh,
phenomenal.
dude. Yeah, there's some of those that's my thing. It's got to be good vegan food.
Yeah,
You got to put some effort into it. There's some people that
100%.
are like, yeah,
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 they're like, these are vegetables. And you're like, yeah, cool. I can get that anywhere. I can go to the store and buy that.
fantastic. You ate vegetables. Now make me some chicken seitan that tastes like chicken.
For real. Or a fucking nice barbecue sandwich from jackfruit. Woo, player.
Bro, you don't know. You'll never tell the difference,
Ah, bro. Anyway, all right. So,
dude.
um, Vegas for the next 5 years. What
Vegas,
else?
definitely staying in the aviation field. I
Yes,
have
love
no
it.
intention to leave this. I feel like I've found like my realm of what I like to do.
Love it.
It's probably always going to be IT. We had a couple of guys on our team retire in their late 60s recently. Like,
Cool.
you just don't leave. They had been with the company for decades.
Hell yeah.
Like, and I'm all about that. I have no reason to leave.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be aviation. Um, just kind of climbing. It's not
Cool.
like I'm trying to run the company, but back to our thing about making money and doing what we love, making that money. Nothing. Biggest lesson I've ever learned is nothing in life is free and nothing in life is easy. Because if it were,
Sure.
we'd all be dead.
Sure.
We would have all fulfilled everything we wanted, and we'd all just fucking die
Kill
from
over and die.
overfulfillment.
Overconsumption.
Pretty
Yeah, I
much.
hear you.
So it's just
Hey, real quick
basically just yeah.
before I forget, do you get flight credits and shit? Do you get like benefits or do you at least get a discount?
We get decent benefits. So if we want rev seats, so guaranteed a seat, we get a 20%
Oh,
discount.
that's sweet.
Other than that, we fly standby as much as we want, and we have
That's
partnerships
cool.
with probably 20 other airlines.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
so fucking
awesome.
cool.
So dude, it's good for work and for fun because back to the 380, we don't the 380 doesn't get filled up. So my fiance and I are thinking, well, if we fly standby on the 380, if we don't make the
Woo!
flight, no big deal. But if we do, I think it was $400 with fees and everything round
Oh,
trip. Now we're flying coach. Well, we're flying coach for $400. I'll deal with the jet lag
on an
to get there.
A380. It's not like it's an A321.
Exactly.
It's a
There's
big
still
roomy
some
jet.
space.
You're
You're
gonna be
comfortable. Yes.
comfortable.
It's fine. It's fine.
It
So
absolutely is.
and the benefits are great. Another one that actually saved my ass. I had to go to Fargo, North Dakota for work. We don't. Frontier doesn't do too many flights out there. We can fly back and forth from airports in our department as much as we want on Frontier. It's for business. Doesn't work that way with other airlines all the time.
Sure.
United had standby seats open to get me home. Otherwise, I would have had to stay in Fargo for 2 more days. So
Ooh,
that was I'm like, you guys put me wherever the fuck you want on that plane. I just need to go home. And the agent's like, oh look, an exit row seat just opened up.
hell yeah. And I get leg
So yeah,
room.
the
Fuck
benefits,
yeah.
and it was like $40, and my boss is like, oh, you got flying United. Oh yeah, approved. For the
Fire.
expense report.
Fire. Love it.
Yeah, dude,
Bro,
so that's pretty decent.
God damn it. I could talk about this shit all day. Oh, and to your point about the A380,
Yeah,
it's the A380. You got to get on that plane before it's retired. We all know that it's
that's the
coming.
other thing.
You need to experience it while we still can.
Yes, that is my other thing. Like, I just want to ride on one.
And
I stood underneath one before, but
oh, I've never done that and I'm jealous.
I'll
Oh,
share the picture with you.
do you know what I did though? On our flight to
What you
Egypt, I was invited into the cockpit by the captain during flight. We were flying over Athens
man,
in a 2 year old A350-900. It was
that is
amazing.
awesome.
Coolest fucking
That is
thing that could ever happen
incredible,
to a nav geek. I was so fucking geeked out. But
man.
to the point of before the A380 is retired, I planned our trip around the A380 and the 747 so I could get those under my belt before
Both
we
of them
can't
in.
anymore. Yeah,
That's
it
what
was.
we're trying to do with this. Yeah,
You need to get out there and explore the world, man. There's a lot to see and a lot of cool planes to fly on. So,
hell yeah, dude.
all right, brother. Well,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here, and I will be in touch with you about doing it again. Because we've
absolutely,
got so
man.
much still to talk about, and this has fucking been a blast, and I'm so excited to catch up with you. Um,
Dude, likewise. Yeah,
Thank you again for cutting out the time to sit down and talk to me about all this stuff. This is amazing.
yeah. Thanks for
Um,
the opportunity, man.
oh, absolutely. And everybody out there, please go follow his stories. Check out what he's what he's got going on, and it'll be a good time. And while you're at it, share this video with your AvGeek friends or non-AvGeek friends, and like, share, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And
All the good stuff.
this has been another episode of Ordinary Joe's Extraordinary Stories. Thanks for coming. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks, Ozer.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye. Here, let me walk you through everything that we spoke about so we can kind of get somewhat of a flow. It's not going to be identical or anything, and obviously,
Right.
I will say that in the intro, but we talked about, I don't know
Yeah,
that
right.
anybody but people who have been on the show really knows about that. It's just a little hidden Easter egg I like to do and see if anybody ever figures it out.
I'm gonna have to go through all your descriptions now,
Yeah,
dude.
I just started doing it this season, so there's not a whole lot of them, but the ones that I've done,
Yeah,
I've tied them in really good. So
I
little
like it.
fun thing
I
I
like
do.
it.
All right, brother. Well, thank
Nice.
you again, and I'll be in touch about sending you a DVD or digital copy of this that guitar concert.
Sounds good, my man.
Now it's time to really jam. We have a couple of people new to the guitar, like Anthony Tapia. He's our bass player. He's brand new, just starting this year. We got Amanda Martin singing, and Jose Granados. And of course, Little Egging on drums. This song's dedicated to the women of Capital High School. If you know the word, sing along.